welcome to day 5 of the GodisaGeek deliberations for Game of the Year. It is the big one. My name's Adam Cook. I'm joined by Chris Hyde, Lyle Pendle, and Mick Fraser. Hello, guys. How you doing? All tired?
I was trying to think of a 5 song there. Slam Dunk the Funk.
Yep, there we go.
That'll do.
Is there anything about like chili con carne? Because I've had a chili, and that, I mean, this pod could go so many different ways.
South.
Yeah, south is one way. Today is the big one. I know it doesn't sound like it. I didn't sound very up there. I'm not sure why, but I am. Because today we're talking about most anticipated. That's the top 5 of next year, 2025. Get used to saying it. And the top 10 games of the year. But before we get started, as is tradition, we have to talk about what we guessed last year. And the whole reason we kind of do that is mostly because of this category. Most anticipated.
I know.
Go on.
I can remember.
Can you?
Because you all gave me Visions of Mana at number 5. Yeah. I remember that one distinctly. I also remember some others which I think we'll wince at, which is like Dragon's Dogma 2.
The Plucky Squire.
The Plucky Squire.
Yeah, but the top 2, you've got 3, 4, and 5. Okay. The top 2.
I imagine Rebirth was on there.
Rebirth was number 1.
And like a Dragon?
Yeah, and Infinite Wealth. I don't think anyone's wincing at them.
No, I just remembered the other 3 and I was like, normally we do better than 2 out of 5.
Well, normally we're lucky if 2 out of 5 release.
Yes, this is true.
But which is not necessarily...
But, on the other hand, it also shows that there's been some other good games.
Yes, some surprises. Some nice surprises.
Yes.
No, that was day 1. Yeah. Right, the nominations are... I think this is the longest list so
Breathe
far.
in.
And we may at some point have to cut some quickly through technicalities, but I think all these are technically scheduled for 2025, and they are Death Stranding 2 on the Peach Beach. I think that should just say on the beach. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, Civilization 7, Doom the Dark Ages, Grand Theft Auto 6, Directive 8020, a Dark Pictures game, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Pokemon Legends Z to A, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Ghosts of Yotai, Little Nightmares 3, Borderlands 4, Assassin's Creed Shadows, The Altars, Fable, Avowed, Slay the Spire 2, Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector, Freezer Pops 2, Mugenics, 2 Point Museum, Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, Mina the Hollower, Date Everything, Pony Island 2, Panda Circus, and Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. Didn't even need a second breath.
Smashed it, mate.
Nailed it.
Well done. It's a lot of fucking games on there.
I love the fact that someone's put on the Peach Beach.
I think that was me.
And you've read it. It sounds like a Mario Kart level.
I think I wrote on the Peach Beach because I was pissed off. Think at the time of thinking about Death Stranding, and I think I added Peach to it, and I've now read it out.
Perfect. So good. That rant was a very early memory of me listening to these Game of the Year podcasts, though.
It worries me like a little bit because people say things like that, and like even when like some of these are going to be behind the curtain, some of these pods are like down to the wire in terms of giving them to Patreons early, patreon.com/GodisaGeek, but it can be 2 days later and they go, "Oh, I can't believe you did that," and I'm like, "Did we? Okay." I don't remember that. Did it? That one did it? Oh, okay, cool. That seems like something we'd say. Yeah. Can I delete Freezer Pops just to get this down? Because obviously that's...
Well, given it's the one game on this list that's not a game, then yes,
it's made up.
And it's a hilarious joke that I do every year, but I got caught this year. I'm annoyed.
No, I was prepared for it. Last time it was genuine. I couldn't fake it this year. Last year it was genuine. I was like, oh, is that... I appreciated the audible sigh before you read it out. Yeah, that was I had to do it. It's on the list.
What'd be really nice is if for next year they announce that there's going to be a Freezer Pops 2 and you don't know about it, and then we get to fight for it.
It's like the boy who cried wolf. He's like, it's not real. It's like, no, it is.
Keep adding it, and I keep deleting it off the list, but you keep adding it back because it's not, and I'm deleting it. And
you'll manifest it into existence.
Yeah,
that's why I believed it though, because there's no, why wouldn't it have a sequel?
It's
I don't
believable,
Yeah. Right, 28 games that need to be 5.
Going.
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah. I think there are a few that are reasonably simple cuts. I think. I don't know that they would be popular.
Yeah, but even if all of us had a top 5, we'd be putting 8 from this list.
Yeah. Yes, exactly that. Yeah.
I want to cut Fable. Because I just don't know anything about it. I kind of just assume it will be another
And
Fable.
the last one they
is
announced got cancelled, didn't it? The Legends thing a few years ago.
Was that the one where you could make your own?
Yeah, that was where you were.
So I played that. That came out. Well,
yeah, I played it at E3, EGX.
Wasn't it like an early accessy thing on Xbox, and then they just unreleased? I don't remember. I know I played it. I know I played it at EGX years ago, and then they cancelled. But anyway, it's Fable, and like you say, you couldn't even really say, based on what old Fable games were, what this one would be, because the world's moved on so much that like the old stuff in the old Fable. This is the one they had Richard Ayoade do like a
right?
That is this game. Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 it was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah. And I was thinking have they had a trailer this year, like at all?
I think
I think they did at the beginning of the year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think
there was something that was mentioned.
I don't think if it was definitely coming next year, it would still be on my most anticipated, purely because I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah,
I've never played a Fable game because I didn't have an Xbox when they were all popular. But like, I'm sort of anticipated by proxy because I feel like I should, because it feels like it's a big enough series for me to be interested in.
But that's
I can't hand on heart go. I can't wait for Fable.
But what do you expect this to be then, based on because you haven't played it? So what do you expect this to be?
Some sort of medieval city management adventure thing. That's kind of what I think it is.
I don't think there's city management, but that
doesn't
mean to
Fable
say
3 kind of had city management, didn't it? Because halfway through you become king or queen.
That's what I know.
If you remember,
about.
It was Michael Fassbender was the king, wasn't he? If you remember, he was like when you depose him, it's brilliant because when you
wasn't
you
it like you had to kind of like
you overthrow him because he's a tyrant. And then when you overthrow him, he says, "Oh yeah, I was a tyrant because if I wasn't a tyrant, we're all going to die.
We're all going to die now. Good luck
next year." So exactly.
That's what I heard about it. Like that's what I thought it. Like they were all like that, but I guess they're not. So
there are things about the Fable games I do love, and I do remember. Like I remember you could pick chickens up and throw them around. Obviously, that's always a funny thing.
Well, you had Chicken Kicker from Fable 1, didn't you?
One of the games had the when you have a family, you can choose to have a family, and I'm sure it was like you could choose to wear a condom or not, or something to create a family.
Yeah,
and
you could do that in.
Was that 3 or 2?
I think that was in 2.
But what we don't know is this because
you could take your spouse out and leave them somewhere to get killed by Balverines when you wanted a divorce as well.
But what? Well, yeah. But what the? I can only remember that trailer with Richard Ayoade in it, and what that made me think is this going to be a little more directed, a bit more narrative, the
trailer suggested so.
Yeah, like an Uncharted style third-person game, more than a.
Fuck about sandbox.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I would be surprised if they But then I don't
if they don't go down the create a character, crafting, open world map icons, I'd be shocked.
Discworld humor.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it wasn't that this time. Yeah, so
don't say that shit because now I want to lock it.
I know that I would say that Fable is very much that sort of Terry Pratchett style. Discworld humor for me.
It was very humorous. It was fart jokes and kicking chickens and.
Like I am really.
You could call yourself Arseface. Do you remember? If you picked Arseface as a name, that's what they would know you as, and everybody would shout, "Here comes Arseface!" when you walk through a village.
I do like genuinely want to play it, and I'm really excited to. But it's the one I think of all of right next to it on our list is Avowed, which we know is coming on a date, which we know a lot more about. I feel like Fable is very much an unknown, other than we assume it will be another Fable.
Yeah.
Which is hard to say what that even is anymore.
Given how many we have to cut.
Why are we spending this long?
We literally spent ages talking about why we maybe shouldn't cut it, and I'm like, no, come on, guys.
No, you're right.
I can suggest a quick one if you want.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Okay.
I didn't like the first one at all.
This group of people, that's probably true.
I mean, I did a preview of it, and it looks like they've improved on stuff. They've added a lot to it. The narrative is quite good, but they've got to fix so much from the first game. The combat,
but I think given what they've said, and they seem really confident. Like Sean went to the Czech Republic to play it, I think, for us. And I was like, he might hate this, but he might love it, and he loved it, and I was quite surprised because and he was really hot on it. And I'm not saying it doesn't stay, but I do.
I mean, for me. There's improvements because the first one was very janky, but it was very much a debut game, and it wasn't bad. I couldn't click with it, and I will say
I am well up for that kind of RPG right now. When you think of
it's very realistic. I don't know,
that's
not
all
realistic,
you play now,
but it's not. it's not fantasy.
No,
it's
but
not
I
a
think of it
fantasy
as sort of
game.
adjacent to the Witcher style games, which like we don't get that many kind of big third person RPGs, medievally kind of. I don't think, but yeah, we can cut it if no one's got a. I do think it's going to be good. I just want that on record.
Yeah, I have a quick cut, which is another game that I think is going to be good, but it won't make the list of this team at all in any way, shape, or form. Which is Directive 8020. Like, I'll play it.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
I'll probably love it. I'm really excited to know what they do with season 2 of the Dark Pictures. But you guys don't care as much as I do.
I care, but I tell you the problem I've got with it. I wish they just dropped the Dark Pictures thing. I understand.
Well, this
why
is the thing.
Like,
I think, like, I do think in terms of the setting of this, I think it will feel the most different of all the Dark Pictures because it's in space. Yeah. So I do think the vibe you're getting from some of the other games where they feel very different, like the Quarry and stuff, where they feel like their own individual thing.
What is this? A sci-fi? Is it a sci-fi?
Yeah. It's literally aliens, mate. It's like aliens. It's aliens. Yeah. Supermassive aliens, like from what I remember, it's like aliens that can literally turn themselves to look like other characters and stuff.
It's
and
those
then
Marvel lads that Samuel L. Jackson likes.
Yeah. The Skrull. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
they should give the Dark Pictures guys aliens.
Well, that's what I was saying the other day, wasn't it? On the other.
But this
podcast,
is what you said.
They
can kind of command respect in a
Lyle
series.
Said, it's
now.
the Telltale thing of where they just. But
they've got a niche and they own it. Like,
they.
But I don't think it makes our top 5. But I can't wait to play it.
Would it make your top 5 out of interest? Genuinely.
I mean, it's a long list.
Some of them names.
If it did, it would scrape 5 because there's some meaty ones here, and it might not even do that. But I'm really keen on it. I am every year when they release one. I want to play it to see, but those ones never quite make it for all of us. Well, that's just one of those things.
In the same spirit, can I offer one up that I think is kind of probably the same exact conversation? I'll offer up the Altars.
I did play the demo, and it's interesting. Yeah, but very briefly, and not as much as I wanted to. But I am really. It's not on my list, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Wait, there's one thing that might save it. Chris, have you played the demo?
No, because I'm keen on it because you are and it makes. There's just been so many fucking games this year that I couldn't have gone. I won't play this because I want to play a demo of the Altars.
I'll play a demo of a game that hasn't got a release date. I mean, this was going to be 2024 until very late.
Because you seem really mad keen on it, and our tastes tend to, be quite close.
It's like it's a space setting, which I don't feel we get like a ton of space setting games.
Get loads next year.
Yeah, but if we do, they're always often like early access kind of exploration-y like sort of games. It's resource management, it's base building, but it's not like
lock it in.
It's not top down. Like you are a Mass Effect style avatar out in the world. You go out and you explore the world in third person as a character, and you mine stuff again, and then you transport it back to the base and stuff like that by putting things down. It's got geology where it was quite difficult in the demo to understand it, but you can like study the terrain to work out how far down you need to go to get the certain things. Then when you go back to the base, the reason it's called the Altars is because you are out on this mission on your own. So you start cloning yourself, like Dolly the sheep, basically. You start cloning yourself, and there's alters versions of you. So you clone yourself, and you end up, there's a mechanic version of me. And I'm really like the game seems awesome. What I'm really excited to see is if there's any, because there's definitely story. Like you're communicating with someone, and you have to find a certain. There's a really. It's a bit like in Marvel? What's the thing like ultra stuff or something? Like.
Vibranium?
It might be that.
Obtanium,
something like that. There's like a special in-world thing that's been discovered, and you have to get it. And if you can get that, you'll be able to get off the planet. And but so you're communicating with someone, and there's then that's the third-person stuff. Then it goes to side on, and it's like, remember the original XCOM where you got a base set out into squares on the screen? It's that, but in a big wheel thing. And you build rooms as well, so it's got that XCOM. I really think it's going to be good. But I offer it up because I just suspect it isn't a top 5 for everybody. I
top 5 for you?
That's the question, isn't it?
Because if it is, I've got easier cuts. I don't think on anyone's top 5.
I would say I would be surprised if it's on Adam's 5 with what's on here.
It would be in a 10. It would be in my 10, but I can't.
If it's not in your 5, I feel like listen. I actually think this list has got quite a lot of games on it where we're like, I'm actually really interested to play it, but I'm not like, oh my god, jizzing in my pants, like that has to come tomorrow, kind of thing.
Even
there's
if
a few
I
of
was
them, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no dogs on this list, and we just filler.
Like, if I was kind to it, I think I could get it to a 6. So But
I've got to ask about a couple though. Off the bottom of the list.
I'll delete it, but play the demo if you can. I think it's on console now as well. The demo. So
I've not done any cuts yet, and I've got a lot. So let me get some rapid fire on. So is Little Nightmares 3 on anyone's top 5? Because I kind of think that's one of those where it's like some people listen, it.
I think
more than that, really. But
I like them. I never end up coming away from them loving them. It's one of those for me. Like, I never think they're ever bad games. I enjoy the experience of it, but I never ever want to go back. Like, I will play this game, but not above a lot of others. And it's just one of those things that I know I'll like, but it's sort of a known quantity, and I feel that's really reductive. And I'm not.
It's one of those series though where you see another one announced and you go, "Oh, that's cool," and then you just wait for it. Like, it's not a when's the
so
date?
it's not my most anticipated because like. It's nowhere near a top 5 for me. But you're right, it's because of that, Mick. I kind of know what it is, and it'll be good, but I'm not chomping at the bit.
Yeah, so that seems pretty easy, right?
Okay, go on. 24 to go.
I have another one that I don't think's on anyone's top 5.
Go for it.
But I think it'll be a fun, good game, and that's 2 Point Museum. I love the 2 Point games. Love 2 Point Hospital. Did I review it? And I loved 2 Point.
You did one of them.
Campus, I think it was. I reviewed that.
Second one, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I imagine this will be just as fun. It's just got their own brand, from.
It's great. I did the preview. I played the preview event a few months ago.
They find a really good way of just that
this
comedy.
Is cool as well. It's much more laid back.
Yeah,
like it's not like because it's not a hospital, so you're not managing like doctors and patients. It's not like the campus where you've got it's like you send your staff out on expeditions to bring back displays to put in the museum, you just have to build the museum to generate what they call buzz, which is just getting people interested in looking at the exhibits and stuff. It's really fun and laid back, but it's not a chomping at the bit.
But do you know what? I'm really glad that this is becoming like a series. Like, really pleased.
I keep thinking they're not going to have like good ideas for the next one, and then the next one comes along, and I'm like, that's cool.
It'll be a 2 Point city, and then it'll be like, where do they go now?
Yeah. But like, it's not.
It's going to happen.
I'll keep an eye on it because I do.
In fact,
I love
think
both
it's
the other
set in
games.
2 Point City. If you watch it.
Okay, nice. It's gone long. So do you have a few?
Yeah, okay. I do. So I think a lot of people who aren't us really, really loved the first of this game, but I don't know that any of us. Yes, you've highlighted it.
I've been meaning to play it forever. That doesn't change what you're about to say.
100%, and like it's literally like it won Game of the Year awards from lots of places, and people are really, really high on it. And I didn't play the first one. I don't know that any of us did.
So I'm not even.
So like,
Sleeper 2 is gone. Simple as. But we shout it out because it's a community favourite, basically.
For sure.
So I feel like Lyle's doing the silent sniper thing and getting rid of all this stuff.
I'm doing one of my own now.
That was my first any Lyle games yet, has he?
I had 3, and I was getting rid of one of my own to finish it off, to be fair.
Okay.
But yeah, that's I think of mine especially, not even on my top 5, is Date Everything, which is the really weird dating simulator that I think it's Team 17 published, where you basically it's first person set in a house, and every object in that house is a dateable voiced character. And it looks really weird. And it looks really weird, obviously. And they showed a trailer where like the text box in the UI is one of the dateable characters, and your own sense of dread is one of the characters. And it seems like a really cool, stupid idea. and I bet I'll really enjoy it. But it's a tough year, and that's not going to make a top 5.
I mean, even with that gone with 21, because you've snuck one on at the end there.
I did realise that a preview went up, I think, maybe today or yesterday for Prisma.
Oh, it was late.
I pre-cut one of mine, and you're sneaking them on.
Well, I got one of mine away and put one on, so it's fine. Okay. We should. I think of mine that are there, right? There's quite a few that are mine. Mina the Hollower that's Yacht Club's next big game after Shovel Knight, but they announced it as being late this year, and now have just very quietly been like, oh yeah, it's going to be quite a lot longer. I don't necessarily believe it's 100% next year. Shovel Knight took a long time when it was, that initial thing. So it's one where I'm not sure if I can, in all good conscience, say, that's coming,
With that gone, we can get it to 20, Lyle. So,
well done, everybody.
So what's the Prisma that you
no, there's another 15. I've got a...
What's that?
50.
I've never heard of Prisma. What's that?
So the Prisma's only just been announced, isn't it? So it's
it has.
I think you've got an eyes on preview and
hands off preview currently. But yeah,
it does
it's
look good.
They did Chris Tales in 2021. They're a Colombian studio, I believe, and basically it's a turn-based JRPG style game where you play as a reporter, and you're sort of sent by a magic crystal-y thing, because there's always a magical crystal-y thing, to a world where it's populated by loads of more of the main character, but from alternate realities. So instead of there being the normal job system from a RPG, they're all just versions of you who have that job, and then you control them in your party. And it looks like it's got some really, really clever ideas. I think it could be very, very high up on my personal list next year. I was really, really impressed with the preview, but I think for a team effort, it might be a struggle. And it is very, very last minute that, it's all been announced and stuff. But stay tuned for that one for sure, because I think that's going to be amazing.
But
yeah, okay. I just don't think it can,
I've got one or two. I mean, everyone feel free to jump in, but I have one or two that I think an easy-ish one, and I think one's quite a spicy cut that I don't think will go down very well, but I do have a good reason for it.
Okay.
So do we want to hear the spicy cut or just the easy one first?
Do the easy one first.
Yeah, then you'll actually get rid of one.
I think Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is difficult to say it will be a top 5 most anticipated game because of what it's been through. Now, I make no bones about it. I really do want to see what this game has become, and I want to see what it is. The Chinese room are developing it now, so that again is another notch on the
Well, I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
I worry this is going to be more curio in the end, though. Do you know what I mean? Because of what it's been through and how many changes. I mean, we saw gameplay of this 5 years ago or something, and
we saw some more this year, and it looked good. But it did look like it needed more time. So it was kind of, when they said, look, it's next year, it's like, okay, fine. Because at this point, it's sunk cost fallacy a little bit, isn't it? It's like, if you rush it out now, it will get destroyed. And it's like, just need to make it good. And I do think the Chinese room will make a good video game. I don't know enough about the development process. Did they completely restart that game at some point? Because it's like you said, Mick, 5 years. I do really want to see it. And I
think they probably stripped it back most of the way, to be honest.
I think they must have. But I also don't think we get many vampire games that are absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it's the power fantasy aspect, but games seem to tend to struggle to absolutely nail it. Can anyone name an all-timer that is a vampire game, apart from the Castlevania stuff, which is...
Maybe Soul Reaver and whatever, but I mean, they're not... Are they even classed as vampire games? That's in them, you know what I mean?
Sort of. I mean, Legacy of Kain was amazing, but it's very dated. It's very old. Modern...
I wish they'd remake Blood Omen. I really do.
Maybe with the Soul Reaver collection, they're testing the waters to see.
Hopefully, I hope so.
But you say that, we can't.
But yeah, cut.
It is a cut, isn't it? Just because it's such an unknown.
Yeah, it's a fair cut.
Do you want the spicy one?
Yeah, go on.
Go for it.
I tell you now, you ain't going to be expecting me to say it.
Okay.
I think I know what you're going to say now you said that.
Like a dragon pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I didn't think you were going there.
Where did you think he was going, Chris?
Yeah,
I thought he was going one above that.
No.
Oh, yeah, I thought that, actually, yeah.
The reason I suggest it is I think this will be a very, very good video game in the way that, like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased His Own Name was a very, very good video game.
It's one of those like in between.
Exactly that.
Like a Dragon.
Exactly
right?
that. It's not the next Ichiban turn-based. It is the next what has become offshoot beat 'em up, hasn't it? Like, and my question is, and I should say that this is number 5 on Chris White's top 5. He has sent these in as well.
So I haven't properly done a top 5, but when I was looking down the list, that was on it.
It is okay. I mean, I'm fine not deleting it because I think it will be great. I just don't.
And the reason it is for me, I pounded this series. So because I played The Man Who Erased His Name into the start of this year, late, if you remember, and then
I was late
what felt like the whole year playing Infinite Wealth. I just want more. I'm in love with it.
I'm with you 100% on that, but like, mind you, if it's on your list and it's
keep hold of it for now. I've got
despite the names on this list, there's
easier games. Right?
Okay, fair.
One of them, I think, is Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is on my list. It's not on my top 5 list. It would be in my top 10 because I really want to play it. But let's be honest, as a group, how many others of us are chomping
problem
at the bit?
Isn't this the Assassin's Creed people have been crying for like 4
years? It is, but also it's the one that I really want to play it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. If it was on my list, it'd be maybe 6 or 7. You know what I mean? But it's a game that everybody wanted them to do, and then kind of Tsushima stole that spotlight quite well, I think. And I think Yotai is probably going to do it again next year. But I do think, like Assassin's Creed, I love Assassin's Creed. I can't wait to play it. I've not disliked many Assassin's Creed games, generally speaking.
See, I think if we're hammering back on board,
maybe. But I think you said that about Valhalla.
I do wonder if that and Yotai end up both in the top 5, and I don't think they do. And if I'm picking between the two, I'm picking Yotai.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking as a group decision when we've got so many to cut. I'm not knocking it because I mean you say what you want about Assassin's Creed games, and people do, but I love that franchise and I will play that game to hell. You know, it feels weird. It
feels weird because for me it's probably not the 18th one on the list.
No, that's maybe what I'm getting stuck
on. I also don't think it makes the top 5. I think we can cut it, but then I do think Lyle, we probably need to talk about some of yours.
Okay, I've only got 2 left now of the ones I properly added.
I want to know if Pony Island makes a list.
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
Next year.
Pony Island is currently, when I very briefly glanced at this list, it's probably my most anticipated game of next year, because Pony Island, I mean, the first game was had this whole thing where, there was a big reveal that it was a lot more than it seemed, and it did that sort of thing at the same sort of time that Undertale did, where it was like a game that you weren't expecting to be a lot more than it was. And then since then, the last game by, I can't remember the developer off the top of my head, it was Inscription, which is a game that I just
whenever I see the name of this game, I imagine it's like a pony riding simulator, and it really fucking isn't, is it?
No, God no. There is ponies in it.
There is.
This is like
in the name, maybe because I look at that title and go, "Do I even?"
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
It's almost a horror game. Well,
it looks dark.
Yeah,
right.
It kind of was one of the original. Was kind of horror-ish.
Definitely.
I mean, of course,
creepy.
The subtitle as well is just like it just sounds like it's going to be.
Literally sounds like
a bargain bin
fluffy
kids
like
game,
box. And I imagine it's like the opposite.
And I'm not going to say it's definitely making a top 5, but since it's my very, very tippity top, I'm like, I might be trying to cling on to it more than much else.
Lyle, I'm going to be fair to you and watch a trailer for this game because I want to know what this is.
I don't think it will help you. I think playing the first game would probably be the only thing that it's bad shit. That first game is
And
Slay the
Inscription
Spire
was a
2,
game.
I think. Slay the Spire 2 is a cut, I think.
Yes, I would agree there.
Slay the Spire is great. I should say I think it'll be fantastic.
Yeah,
yes,
and it could be.
I'm really keen to play Slay the Spire 2 because I loved Slay the Spire. It's properly my jam. I'll be really keen to see.
Pony Island has a boatman with a lantern inside his ribcage. This is not what I expected this to be.
Yeah, no, I know it. Yeah, but like, sorry, which game are we talking about now?
Slay the Spire. Well, I wonder. Slay the oh my god, Slay the Spire 2 has one of them things to me. A feeling about it is like, I wonder if it's a game that they could end up actually being tempted to release it in early access.
They could.
I'd be surprised if they don't.
Yeah. I'm just really keen to know what they do next.
Well, that's the other thing I'm struggling with.
Because, yeah.
You can't just do more. You can't just go on to another one.
I can see this going down the sort of Hades 2 route, like you say. Like, there's like, they release it early, get some feedback and stuff.
100%.
Like, I which is not a bad thing, because I'm loving how Hades 2 looks, by the way. So it's like, it's not a bad thing.
Oh God!
It doesn't make my top 5, but it's one of those weird.
Where's Hades 2 on this list? I knew we'd forgotten.
But we don't know it's going to be 1.0.
It could stay in early access for another year.
Yeah,
we don't know.
We can't. No, let's stick to Slay the Spire.
What does it say? I'm just having
no, don't even look.
I'm looking, because you have to look now.
You do have to look.
By that rationale, I'd have probably put Windblown on there, and maybe. I
shouldn't think that's surely going to be longer than a year.
I would think so. Motion.
Are we cutting Slay the Spire 2? Let's start there.
Yes, I think we are.
For me, I think we are. But it's one of those weird ones. It's not in my top 5. But as soon as it gets kind of announced, I'm going to go and play it. But I can't say it's. No.
Be honest, we're going to play most of the games.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? I could probably cut another one. I might be misreading the entire group and what games they love and what's in people's top 5s. But is Civilization 7 really high on everyone's list? It's one of those ones where I'm keen, but I'm not mad. Top 5.
They don't tend to be bad games.
No, exactly that. And it feels a bit harsh. Like, it's like we said about Black Ops the other day. It's like they're always good. So, but like, FC 26 isn't on this list. It's like.
I get you.
Yeah.
Do we think for a top 5, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam will make a list? Because again, that's another one that I think is. It's exciting that series is coming back, and I do really like this game.
I'm really glad it is, I am.
Yeah, I'm the
because,
same.
Like, I've played a couple of them, but not for so long.
Well, it's been so long.
Yeah, and whenever I've played them, it's like crack cocaine, isn't it? Like, you just keep going. And, what I imagine crack cocaine is, like...
mask slip there, son.
Yeah, I know, shit. I'm a good boy. So it's one of those ones where I'm like, I'm really glad that it exists. I was really happy when I heard it was announced, because it's like going back into something that it ain't going to be shit. It's going to be comfort food in game form, isn't it? It's just going to be really lovely and nice to play, and a little bit cerebral, but not too far. And it's just going to be. I'm probably not going to be. Also, on the same vote token, probably isn't going to win nicest surprise next year. Like, it's because it's probably not going to knock your socks off and do something completely different you weren't expecting, which I know is, again, pretty harsh, but it's hard to get really excited to be most anticipated for something that is just going to be like a warm hug.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Should I maybe read these again? Because we're down to 14.
Yeah.
You're smashing this. This is.
I've got a suggestion as well after you're done.
Well, no, go for it if you've got one now.
Okay. So I know, out of the 5 of us, I know whose list this one is on, and I do include Chris White in that.
I wouldn't do else to include if there was a 5.
Death Stranding 2 on the beach has got to be on Chris White's list, yeah?
It is number 2 on Chris White's
list. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, that's
number 1 on Adam's.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I really liked Death Stranding. I'm not going to knock it. I know it's got its problems. I know.
Adam hated it. Did you not know it?
No, he didn't hate it. He didn't hate it. It was just a hard game to fully love all the way, and it is that sort of game. I liked a lot of it,
and I didn't like it. It's a really good game with bullshit story. That's what
it's Kojima. It's a Kojima.
I didn't say it. Mick said that.
But you were thinking it.
Yeah,
definitely. But might have been.
Is it one that we're all chomping at the bit for? I know Chris White is, and I knew who would have put that on the list particularly, and I don't want to deprive him because he's not here. But
it wouldn't be anything close to mine. But that's not that surprising.
We've still got games Doom and stuff on this list. It's like.
Yeah, so I didn't play Death Stranding because Adam said it was shit. So I didn't play it, and the thing is for me, this game would have. It's one of those on mine where I'm like,
I'll play it. I really like.
No, but this is the thing. I don't know if I will unless I hear something that makes me go, "Oh."
That's also fair. Yeah.
So if I hear it's a good game, but it's batshit Kojima, to paraphrase, then I probably won't touch it.
Someone playing electric guitar as a weapon, not hitting them with it, just playing electric guitar as a weapon.
Yeah,
like this is one for me where I will reserve judgment. Yeah. I'm not actively excited for it right now.
Yeah,
I didn't play the first one till I reviewed it on PC because I thought I don't like the look of that. It's not going to be my sort of game. Then I did play it and I did like it, but that makes me trepidatious about what they do with.
It bothers me so much that they've subtitled it on the beach.
I bet
it's better than on the peach beach.
It is better.
I mean, I get why, because it makes sense for the world.
Yeah, but no, I'm not. I can't.
Sex on the beach.
What a banger!
Yeah, it was a banger.
What was it? Tea something.
Don't pretend you haven't got it on the.
I used to have it on CD. Do you know what? I remember it because the CD had like a clear thing on it, so it looked like it was a broken CD.
On the right cheek is I love crack cocaine. On the left cheek,
yeah, teaspoon.
What a great time!
Listen, if you guys want to cut Death Stranding,
I would rather talk about teaspoon than play.
But that goes over cutting any of them.
Yeah, I think let's shoot that one in the head. Actually, let's throw a piss grenade at it. That's what we do in the game.
It's gone.
Sorry, Chris.
I've still got 8 games in my top 5.
Yeah, let's go. Speaking of which, I think I need to read these out. So we've got 13 still to drop down to 5. It's Monster Hunter Wilds, Doom: The Dark Ages, GTA 6, Like a Dragon, Pokemon Legends ZA, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Ghosts of Yotai, Borderlands 4, Avowed, Mugenics, Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, Pony Island 2, and Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Now, I think Pipistrello's come as far as it's going to go. As much as Lyle and I love it, it ain't.
Another one, I don't know what that is.
It's like a Game Boy Advanced style. You know how
not Game Boy Advance because they get sued.
Yes, but it is Game Boy Advance.
And it's a Metroidvania top-down
Zelda type.
Zelda more
so
like Zelda.
Not something I'm even going to play, I guess.
I think the demo that Lyle and I played, I absolutely adored.
Yeah.
I do wonder how far off it is because
it's weirdly quiet on it.
That's what I mean. They just
the release date's still 2024, but I think that's not going to happen.
They just don't seem to be saying anything about it anymore.
I also think that if I recall, Chris Hyde also played the demo, and you thought like it seems all right as opposed to blowing away. And if one person has that reaction alongside that, I just don't think. I mean, again, one that's stupidly high for me, and I really enjoyed playing. But
it's just fine now.
That's the whole fucking list, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll take it off the list. The list.
I've got 2 games on this list that I don't believe will come out. They might say that they're coming out, but I don't believe in Grand Theft Auto 6 or Metroid Prime 4 releasing next year.
Metroid Prime 4, I think, will come out this year.
Yeah, I believe that will.
That will.
I'm
with you.
There's no way.
With you on GTA 6.
This is the thing, right? Firstly, Metroid Prime 4. If that doesn't come out next year, then Nintendo look like fucking idiots because they have been silent on that game. We used to call this the Metroid Prime 4 Awards every fucking year, like because they announced it and just didn't say anything, like for however many years, and then they finally said, "Oh yeah, this year it's 2025. It's called Beyond. It's got Cyrax in it." Like they've literally done enough. Yeah. If they don't now put it out, all we've got to go on now is what Nintendo have said, which is trailer 2025.
Yeah,
right? So we kind of have to.
We can't. Yeah, I don't want to definitely.
I do understand the GTA 6 argument, but again, they've said 2025, so I kind of feel like
it's. I wouldn't even say it was an elephant in the room, but it's really doing the other games sort of a disservice. But for me, based on what I know of myself and you guys, there's 4 that are locks, and there's 1 that's got everything else is battling for 5th. I don't see a world in which GTA 6 and Metroid Prime 4 aren't locks for starters. Well, I'll say that because we've just talked about them, and I actually agree with Lyle. I think GTA 6 they're not going to be in any rush. They
you know
make
what it is
money all
about
the
GTA
time.
6 though. Even if we had a concrete, it's definitely coming between now and the end of 2025. Even though we know that they've got all that pedigree and we know what they're going to do, we have no idea what it is yet, do we?
Well,
we don't know.
Really. We know it's a Grand Theft Auto game, and
it's one of those games that bore me quite a bit.
Like... What I mean is, like, we've played many of those games, so like, there's not a hook yet to say to me this is going to be set in, like, it's going to be set in London. It's going to be set
but nobody knew that GTA 5 was going to be 3 characters that you could switch between. Until
I know, but I don't feel,
I
feel like something's moved since then. I feel like something in the industry
they moved it
where we just that's fair. But the reason I wouldn't have GTA 6 on my list is the reason that I didn't even think of it, because I don't know enough about it to know.
And it's hard to anticipate if you don't like.
But that's just
I know
Rockstar.
that. I do know
it's number
that,
one on Chris's list. I'll tell you that now.
Look, I don't expect GTA 6 to come out and everybody to go, well, that was shit. It's going to be phenomenal. We know that. I don't think they can release bad games. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things. I mean, their track record is, since probably Max Payne 3, that may have been a bit of a
that's the last one I like.
Is that next year, the remake? No, that's Remedy, isn't it? Remedy making
That's Remedy doing that though. Yeah. But no, I agree that GTA 6 could come off a list.
I know. I was just about to say, is that next year?
Yeah,
the
you just
first
thought
person shooter is. I think the first person shooter setting controls in world is.
I've got. By the way, I also did check Hades, and there's nothing saying it's 2025. All they say is that they will still be in early access.
Yeah.
And I thought of another game as well, the remake of Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. I don't think that has a 2025 release date either. So,
right, look, let's kick Pokemon off this list because it's only me that cares.
That's not true at all.
Okay.
I have got hugely into Pokemon in the last few months. And I'm like, I always liked Pokemon a lot, but literally every 3 minutes that I am, every time I cook, I watch Pokemon based content on YouTube, and I am chomping at the fucking bit for Pokemon Legends Z2A because it's set in the world of one of my favorite Pokemon games. It's Legends again, which I think was very interesting, and I think after Scarlet and Violet, and I think that after Scarlet and Violet, they're going to want to, not
maybe there's easier cuts to it. If two people want that one, maybe there's easier.
I didn't expect any support for that. Because I know I was like the massive.
I thought Lara might
Legends
support
fan.
you.
I thought you might be interested in it, but
I do think if we're keeping, so we've held on to Pokemon, we've held on to GTA 6 for now, we've held on to like a Dragon for now, and Metroid Prime. These ones that have been discussed. What are we? I mean, whose is well?
I don't know. I'm.
I wouldn't cut. I wouldn't cut. Okay, there's
Avowed. I think
9 games I'd
go, but
what should go? What do you think?
Eugenics, but I know Lara will shoot me in the face.
No, you need backing.
Eugenics is sort of. Yeah, I think Mugenics is one of those games where I keep having moments where I get really excited because they show something and then they sort of vanish for a bit. So I stop being as excited and I temper my expectations.
It's like it just needs to come out.
And when it comes out, I reckon it's going to be fucking amazing. That's my prediction. I think that's going to be great. But it's hard to say it's definitely it would be in my top 5, but it's not as high up as quite a few other games. And because I just think they've been so on and off with it. And I thought it was coming out last year for certain with how much they talked about it. And then they vanished for 6 months,
And then said they're not coming out this year. Yeah, it's got to go, innit?
Yeah, another game that I think will be brilliant, but that's been pretty much the whole list, right?
Yeah, there's not crap ones on this list.
No, we wouldn't put them there, I guess. No. I want to ask about one we've not talked about because this is a celebration of games, but it would be as low as it could get for me as a game coming out next year. And it's fine that won't be the case for others, but Borderlands 4 could not interest me less, and I want to know how passionate other people are for Borderlands 4. Because I know it's a liked series, so
it would be one of my top 5. Yeah, it would.
It's my number 4.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like my top 3, but it would be.
No, it's my number 4.
I feel like I need to really lock in my 5 because
I keep shuffling mine as we go.
2.
Well, my 5 are basically the top 6 on that list. No, they're not. Shit, Borderlands 4.
That doesn't work.
Oh, it's brutal.
So
Listen, we need to cut Avowed. No one here is like desperate for Avowed. We all think it'll be good. It'll be a Skyrim style game. We all think it looks cool, but no one here is saying that's top 5.
Yeah, it's Obsidian, right?
I think so. Which means you know it's going to be good.
Track record. It's going to be good. It's going to be a solid 8. I'm going to predict from my chair.
Wow,
8.5. Lock it in.
But what I mean is that I really want to play Avowed, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those games that like I haven't played one like that for a while because a few of them passed me by. But I just cannot sit here and go, I want to play it more than I want to play.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Prime, Doom, Monster Hunter, Borderlands, Ghosts of Yotai.
Not to show his hand or anything.
No, I deliberately read them in a weird order.
No, I would knock Avowed off before Borderlands 4, even if Borderlands 4 was next. I would knock Avowed off first. I would also. I've got to ask about. So yeah, if Avowed's going,
is Avowed going?
I would say so.
Yeah, is it on Chris? Where's it on Chris's list?
Oh, good point. No.
3. No, not.
Okay, fine. Then get rid of it.
We're fine. So down to 10, halfway there.
Okay, we're down to 10. What about Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Chris White's number 3, but my feeling on it is I think it will be a very good game, but I'd rather put my votes towards brand new games, if that makes sense. And that's really not fair, but we are.
It's a tough one as well because that's the Metal Gear game that I bounced off the hardest. So if they remake it really well, that'd be kind of nice, you know. Yeah. It's the same reason I want a Final Fantasy VIII remake because I don't really.
That's what's going to happen then. You and I. You and I will love Snake Eater and all the original fans will hate everything about it.
9.
Oh,
is your favourite Final Fantasy number 8?
No, I don't like 8 at all. So I want to remake it.
Oh, you want 8 because
right? I want to get to
you want to make it good.
Okay.
Yeah. But 9's my favourite. So.
I feel like Metal Gear Solid can come on.
I think
Chris.
I feel like we're at the point where if only one person is championing. I'm sorry, Chris is not here, but like. I don't feel like it can get to a top 5 with some of these.
Yeah.
When do you want to start locking? Because we're dancing around a couple of these.
I was going to say,
not really. I've not mentioned Monster Hunter Wilds because it's pointless mentioning it because it's a lock, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, I'll kill all of it.
I think Lyle's the only one that isn't mad up for this. The rest of us are, right?
And everyone else is, so it definitely has to.
I feel like if there's 4 people that are mad up for it, and there is, then it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. It would
3.
I
kind of think.
Otherwise.
What's that?
3, not 4.
Oh, really?
It's not on his list.
Oh shit!
Doesn't mean it comes out the list. It just. Means
I don't think it means it comes out the list at all. But like, it might mean where it
might mean where it places for now.
Yeah,
I will say his list is very fucking strong, and it is the list I would have guessed if it were Chris White making a list. It's. Yeah.
I'll be the judge of that.
Not to call him predictable or anything.
No, I just
how
know
cruel.
The games. Well,
can we I'm sorry to do this, Lyle, but I feel like at some point we have to decide about Pony Island 2.
I was going to say that next.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
I think a lot of people are gonna.
I know that you like it's number 1, and that makes this a really hard conversation. But I'm intrigued by it through you actually because I liked Inscription. You know, So I think it's one of those ones that's been put on my radar because of this conversation, which I think is a really nice
Inscription,
thing.
by the way, I believe at time of recording is in Game Pass on Xbox, so go grab that because it's such a cool, unique, weird game.
Yeah.
But I do feel like
I don't
comparatively where there's going to be multiple people championing things, I feel like this probably won't sneak a top 5 now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it made it to 9. Good job.
And I am now interested, so well done, weirdly.
Fuck yeah. Okay, what do I like that's left? Let's see what we're championing. Couple of things. That's fine. I got this.
I mean, just to get the temperature.
There's one game on there.
Ghost of Yotai is on your lists, Chris and Mick, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's number 2 on my list.
It's on Chris White, so I'm just getting the temperature. That sort of makes me think it should stay.
I will say that 4 of my top 5 are still on the list, which does feel a little bit, but then they are big things.
I've got one left.
I think I've got 5.
Yeah, I'll bet you fucking do.
I think I have. I don't know.
Unfortunately.
It's difficult. Like,
Stop having 6.
There's 5. There's 5 I feel really passionate about. Whether they'd actually be in my top 5, but there's 5 I feel strongly about.
Adam, can I just? I think at this point, because you spoke quite highly of pretty much everything else on here, I think maybe Borderlands 4 is the one. It's in my top 10 for next year. As you know, we discussed it, but let's be honest, I don't think it's going to make the site's top 5 against some of those.
As long as it is just more of that gameplay, more of the co-op, like
I can't wait for it.
I do really think we should like make a concerted effort with multiplayer on that next year, like because I think that would be great, and I as long as it's good multiplayer, right? But like I think that would be good.
They did really good multiplayer last time, though, didn't they? With Tiny Tina, like they did it really well.
I've liked everything in that main franchise. I've liked a lot.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to like.
Apart from, I wasn't as keen on. Oh God, what was the spin-off?
The pre-sequel.
Yeah, then they had some weird oxygen mechanic or something in that.
Yeah, and like a bum bounce thing, but I got over it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. It can't.
Now I have 4.
No, I still have 6.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I didn't realise that was that.
No, it's fine. But I'm a weird person, and we'll come on to that in a minute.
I mean, truth be told, any of these that gets cut now is going to hurt. There's most of those I would be happy with in the top 5.
I could transfer my allegiance to another one and still have 5. It's fine.
Yeah, just do that. I've been doing that as we shuffle. It's fun.
Okay, look,
I've 3 now.
We've basically said we're not going to lose Monster Hunter Wilds, I think, off this list.
It can't. I mean,
right? No,
so we start bolding some because I think then when it starts going, okay, conversations between these ones.
So I think they were the ones we talked about bolded first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be happy to bold Metroid Prime 4.
There's only one we've not discussed. There's only one we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
And it's number 2 on my list.
Is it
Doom? Sorry, number 3 on my list.
Is it Doom? Have we done Doom?
Yes.
Because I loved the last Doom game. It was on my Game of the Year list that year.
Those new Doom games are
so
fucking
There
amazing.
is no way this is not going to be fucking superb.
I agree.
Like it's just not going to happen. They would have to drop the ball so fucking hard for that game not to be incredibly. I mean,
the only thing that they could do, I think, to mess it up is if they did that
where this
thing.
is going.
And it does happen at some studios. I mean, I'm thinking of the Batman games, like where they made an amazing game and then an amazing game. Then, do you know what? We're going to make another amazing game, but in the meantime, we're going to get someone else to make a game in this series. And I don't think that's the case. That's the only way I think they could get it wrong. But I mean, Doom. Chris, you're not a fan of the last 2 Doom games?
No, I am. I'm saying I can see where this top 5's going.
I can't.
And I'm unhappy a little bit but I was always going to be. Because I think
I don't know,
a game that I really like is going to make number 6, and I don't like that, but it's fine.
See, I don't know. It does. Where's Like a Dragon on Chris White's list?
That was the game I was talking about that I think gets
right. It's on Chris's list. It's on Chris's list. It's on your list.
It is on my list. I only offered it as a cut because I thought no one was excited, and that it was.
That's what I mean. I'm not, but you guys absolutely are. And I wonder if does that beat out Pokemon? Does it?
I think it beats Pokemon. I thought Pokemon would be the next cut.
Yeah, I think Pokemon's gone.
But then I was like,
a crying shame.
But then I feel like I was trying to read the room and go, I think Doom and Ghost of Yotai make the top 5, and I don't disagree with it. But I really, really want to play Like a Dragon, much.
I think I would love Ghost of Yotai and Doom to also make the list. But as it stands, Monster Hunter Wilds is the one that I'm most hyped for.
That game's bold. But it's going nowhere.
It's not like you've got to remember this, because you do this every time. You are allowed to be happy. Right, you can have it. It can be that your top 5 ends up being.
Don't tell me to feel things just because your fucking tattoos itching on your left cheek.
I missed half that insult, but I appreciate the ask. What I guess what I'm saying is just because you've got a lot doesn't mean you can't have other nice things.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a giver.
Are we?
I'm a giver.
Pokemon?
Yes. Sorry. Yes. I was just
Pokemon,
doing some.
Right. Well, there's no point having any of these in bold anymore because there's only one got to go now.
Yeah.
And there they are: Pokemon, Monster Hunter, Doom.
Did you just say Pokemon?
He did,
yeah, I did. Yeah,
did you just put it brutally and then brought it back?
Will it back into the top 6?
You're playing with my emotions.
Okay, what's next? Something's got to go. Someone's got to go.
Chris.
Right, Ghost of Yoto's on Whitey's list, isn't it?
Say again.
What? Yeah, what's Chris White's list? Read that out again.
Yeah, it's on his list,
Can you read it out, his list?
So 5th is Like a Dragon, 4th is Ghost of Yoto, 3rd is Metal Gear Solid, 2nd Death Stranding 2, and number 1's GTA 6.
That doesn't help.
Chris Hyde.
Yeah?
What would you cut instead of Doom? What would you cut? Because you've said you like the Doom games and you think it would be good. So what would you cut instead of it?
So it's an awkward one, because if you'd said to me which of these 6 do I think should be cut, I'd cut that from a selfish point of view. So, right, okay. Personally, just for me, if this was a Chris Hyde podcast and I didn't have to think about anyone else in the entire universe, just for me, I'd cut GTA 6. But that is never happening. And so it's a moot point, right? But I am nowhere near as hyped for that game as anyone else.
I would also do that.
Oh, great. What are we doing here? Come on.
I would, if it was between that and Doom, that'd be gone with a bullet.
And that's not because I'm not excited for GTA 6, is that because Doom and GTA 6 are hugely different games. And I veered more towards that sort of feel. If you like a game feel like, and I can't remember. I know, Mick, you've played some what they call boomer shooters nowadays.
Lots.
Yeah, but and I know there are games and like what was that? What was the was it Hellsinger? It was a bit like Doom, but it was based on music.
Oh, the rhythm.
Yeah, that was Hellsinger. Hellsinger.
Games have done that sort of, but the rhythm you get into in Doom of the shooting and the melee to get back ammo, to get back health, is.
And the traversal was cool as well.
Yeah, and that's
the closest.
Now you've got
the closest one is Proteus. Proteus is a fantastic game.
Yes, that's a really good game. But now you have a shield and a chainsaw and all sorts of stuff, and like fuck, I think of all of these. Of all of these, if you said you can have it tomorrow, I think it would be that or Metroid Prime for me.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be that or Monster Hunter for me. I think.
I mean, because I've literally played a bit of Monster Hunter, I feel less like. I know it's going to be good. I'll play it when it comes out. But like for me, Doom, that game, because to me it's so weird. Those two sort of, I don't know. Do we want to call them like reboots? The two modern Dooms.
Yeah.
They felt like rhythm games, but they weren't rhythm games, but they are rhythm games just because of the natural rhythm. Yes. And I can't think of many where you get into that fucking flow state of just like.
It clicks.
It just clicks, and you are going through this arena. And in the second one, especially, like when you get in the grapple and you're just going through this arena and you're running out of ammo.
You know what there is?
But it's designed to be deliberate, so that you are
it's a
supposed
purity.
to run out of ammo.
There's such a purity to those games that is like.
They also look really good, by the way.
They do
look really good.
Like, let's not forget. For some reason, I'm forgetting what the second one was called. Don't know why.
Doom Eternal.
Yeah. That was used as like a showcase for the Series X, remember?
During lockdown.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Like, I just...
Yeah, I remember that.
It's not that I'm not excited for GTA 6. It's not that at all. I think that game will be brilliant. I do have doubts about it coming out in 2025. I think I'm thinking I feel like we'll look stupid. Does that make sense?
No, I agree. This is the thing, right? For me, I've not really played GTA as a series. I played a bit of multiplayer like once when I installed it, and then we never played it again. Like that series I've just never been one. It's never really clicked with me. Maybe I'm too much of a goody two shoes. Don't know, but like I'm interested to see if this is the one that finally grabs me. But I can't lie and say I am more excited personally to play it than the others on this list, because I'm just not.
It's Chris White's number one. That does bring it.
It can go to the Pony Island glue factory then, can't it? It can go with my ponies and get ground up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think GTA 5 is one of my favourite games of the last probably sort of 10 or 15 years. It's
what
fantastic.
Would you cut from this, Mick? This 6?
Out of this, well,
not just to be kind to us.
You'd cut Metroid, wouldn't you? From a personal.
Yeah, because I've got no affinity with the series.
That's
the only reason, mate. I'm not. Yeah, but you asked me, so I.
No, that's fine. I want you to be honest for yourself.
Yeah, my personal one is because I've never played like the GTA. I get it. Like you can't.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll do it fairly, like we did with Chris. If I had to cut one of the ones that is on my list, it would be GTA 6. If I had to cut one that was something I was looking forward to, because I'm not looking forward to Like a Dragon or Metroid, but I am looking forward. GTA 6 would be off my list. Out of Monster Hunter, Doom, Ghost, I want on that list. That's my selfish answer.
Chris, you're the maths man. Where do we stand if this is Chris's number one? And does it stay or does it go? Because it sounds like Lyle would like it gone. You pick it to be gone.
I feel like it's 6.
Yeah, it feels like it should stick.
I feel like there's going to be. I might regret saying this, but I don't think we're going to be in a position with the other 5 where we're like, we're not sure any of these should sit here.
Yeah. What do we cut? For me.
Plus, it is 6 GTA 6.
Oh, you love it when the numbers line up.
Yeah. But I won't be playing that card for Metroid Prime 4. But whatevs.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I think the cut has. No, I'm not going to say it. You won't like me. I'm not hearing Ghost of Yotai being talked about in the same breathless way that we are the others, and that's not to say it's not a good game because like Ghost of Tsushima is fantastic.
Right. Okay. I mean, I can if you want me to. Right?
I mean, Tsushima was my game of the year.
We don't need to because it is on Chris White's list as well. Yeah. It's number 4, so that can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Tsushima is my apology to Mick because I hadn't played that game on the right year. Played it afterwards and was like, I am so sorry. And now Yotai exists. I can't do the same to him now because I'm really looking forward to it.
So what are we cutting? It's going to be Like a Dragon or GTA then, isn't it?
I think it's where's Like a Dragon on Chris's list? 3. You did tell me. I did ask.
5. GTA's number 1. So.
And is GTA on anyone else's list? Just yours, Ad?
It's not on. I'd probably.
As if that's not on anyone else's list. I don't know.
I'd squeeze it in over Ghost of Yotai, I think, only because I'm a little bit confused about it. It's a sequel, but it's sort of not.
But if other people have that higher, then it doesn't really
matter. No, it doesn't matter anyway. So, I mean.
I still think out of everything on the list, GTA 6 is the lesser known quality. I do. Yeah. I think it's the quantity. I think it's the lesser known. We know it's going to be good. We can assume it's going to be good.
I think we have to vote and settle on a 5, and because we're never going to be able to move.
We voted on a cut here.
So which game we cut? I think we have to narrow it down.
Me and Chris already said, didn't we?
Well, I think there has to be a choice between Like a Dragon and GTA 6.
Okay, fair enough.
Does anyone disagree with that as the vote?
No, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
It's more of a selfish choice for Chris Hyde, I think, that one, but.
Yeah.
Oh no, it won't be. No, it won't be. Sorry.
He's fine.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
Misunderstood. Yeah.
So hang on. So Chris, you're voting for GTA 6.
I'm voting for GTA 6. Yeah.
Lyle?
To cut. To be clear.
I actually don't really know between these two.
It's the Sophie's choice for Lyle.
Yeah, but it's like the opposite. It's like if Sophie's choice was that she hated both the kids and wanted them gone.
That was a fable.
Yeah, that's the sequel that we all want for Sophie's choice.
I still think it's GTA 6. I do.
I don't really need to carry on asking, do I?
Well, I would cut Like a Dragon from it because we're voting, but
so you actually are the kingmaker because if it's number 1 for Chris, he'd cut Like a Dragon. So you're the kingmaker here.
But I can't be that because I can't. I just can't. I'm so torn because I love Like a Dragon, and I want to play
Like a Dragon
that right
stays. Now. Come on,
but I can't cut GTA because on a moral I feel bad for Chris White. But no,
you know what?
Bye, done, finished. Yeah. Sorry, Chris.
Chris would have taken the hit for us if he was
here.
I
don't know that he would on that one, but
I think he would have.
Well, it's too late now, isn't it? We'll never know.
But
he is the best of us.
But he is, yeah. But by proxy, it does number 5.
Plus, frankly, he's had some bloody good days.
He's done great.
He's done the best of us in days 3 and 4.
Right, look at that list, lads. Tell me what's going on with that list. I've done some finagling.
You've done some stuff, haven't you?
Well, for me, I'd leave number 1 where it is.
The bottom 2.
No, that's what I'm saying. Tell me what you think of that list right now.
I like it
as it stands.
I think
Chris, I know what you're going to say, and I do agree with you, but
I also agree with you, Chris. Just so.
Oh, well, okay then.
I think so. Anyway,
I'm saying that Metroid Prime should be above Wilds.
Oh yeah, same, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I'm not.
I was talking.
I know.
Yeah. I was talking before about not being.
Can you talk to me about Metroid Prime 4, Lyle? I'm really interested. I
fucking love Metroid Prime. It's great. Yeah.
Yes, Lyle. I didn't know this.
Good. Metroid Prime's amazing.
I don't know if it's because I knew we were going to be talking about it today, but I was having I always do this in the year. I just check, what do I need to delete off my consoles? Clear up a bit of space because we've got new games coming in, sort of thing. And I noticed I still had Metroid Prime Remastered on my Switch, and I was like, "Oh, I couldn't I?
Well,
I could," and that's mad. You asked Lyle. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I didn't know. I know you played the remaster, and so that you really liked. I know you like Metroid Prime, so I knew that there would be an affinity for 4, but I didn't know about Lyle. I genuinely didn't.
Imagine Metroid Prime though in 2025 with modern quality of life and. Oh my god!
And I love the first 2 games. I didn't play enough of the third game really, but the idea of a new Metroid Prime done by modern day Nintendo who knock it out the park with these games, they have to knock it out the park.
Probably without some of the more obtuse stuff that crept into 2 and
potentially a new console.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to say. Hang on, Mick. I almost don't want to know the answer. Have you played any of the 3 Metroid Prime games?
No.
Okay, I'm buying you that after this podcast, and you're playing that.
I've never played
you will
Metroid Prime.
Fucking love Metroid Prime.
I played some of the side-scrolling ones. I played Metroid Dread, which was pretty good. And
see how much it was a physical of it, right?
It's on the way to your house now.
Fucking steelbook or something.
Sorry, Lyle. Please continue.
I just really love the games. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's on this list.
Okay,
I think
maybe not tomorrow. It's 42 quid, so maybe not. Maybe for Christmas.
Not on anybody's. Have we not got any way of playing the remaster?
Not at the moment. No. Listen. Shit.
Look, I dare say it would be on my list. I mean, I wanted Wiles at number 1 because that's my number 1. And nobody's got their number 1 at number 1. Maybe apart from I think Chris Hyde might get it with this. But
I couldn't pick between this and Doom, but I accept Doom is not going to beat Monster Hunter if that makes sense.
But I can accept if Monster Hunter is really just me jumping up and down for it.
No, it's not.
I wouldn't go that far to say it's only you jumping up and down.
No. But Metroid Prime 4 is
Prime,
how long? When did they announce Metroid Prime 4?
Oh, about 1960. No, to be fair, Metroid Prime 3 was, I looked this up today, 2007, right? So
I just had a text from Steve. Steve Chambers says if Monster Hunter Wilds isn't number 1, he's going to kill all of you.
Yes, fine. I'd like to see him try.
That doesn't mean I get to see him again.
Yeah, we get to see him again before he stabs us or shoots us. Metroid.
So look, I'm not going to fight. Guys.
Listen. I don't want it to. I don't want to come across like I do not give a shit about Metroid, Monster Hunter Wilds, because I can't wait to play that game.
It looks.
I love Monster
great.
Hunter. You know that, Mick. I love it. But for me, Metroid Prime, it was my favorite game on GameCube. I can't pretend I don't love the series.
As a final fight, I guess, for Monster Hunter, because I this is purely.
No, you know what? I am buying it. I'm still buying it. Sorry, Mick. I am. That will be.
I'll chip in. It's fine.
You would love it. Please play it though. Don't just go. I'll take a Switch game.
What's it on Switch?
Switch, yeah. Please, because you will absolutely lose your shit, and you will be playing it, going, "Fuck's sake!"
Be like Ghost of Tsushima for me.
So, that's
yeah, it will. 100%.
Payback.
So look, what I would say is, right, and I'm happy to leave Metroid Prime at number 1 if that's the feeling, that's fine. The only thing I will say is, I know that next year we're going to be playing Monster Hunter Wilds together. We're going to do that thing, which is partly what I'm anticipating, because we're going to have. We're going to play it. We're going to play that game.
I would go one further, though. I would go one further and say that if the 3 on this list currently, Metroid Prime 4, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Doom: The Dark Ages, aren't being discussed this time next year as top 10 contenders for the next category, I would be devastated, because these 3.
Yeah, I would.
I don't believe Nintendo can or would allow a bad Metroid Prime 4 to go out at this stage. Monster Hunter Wilds, I've already played at preview. You've played the betas and stuff. You already know it's going to be great. Doom, as you say, they'd have to try to mess it up, I think, and it looks like they've taken their time with it. It's not like 2 years later. It's
not a rush. No.
No, it's
so look, I can live with it. I'm not. That's fine. Because let's face it, if I play Metroid Remastered,
it'll be in your top 10.
And my attitude changes. The only reason it's not on my list is because I haven't played it.
I reckon it will be in your top 10 of this year. Way when you play a game from old game in the break or something. Yeah. I think, well, like Chris says, it will be your Ghost of Tsushima. So,
can I just ask a question that I think will get shot down within seconds? But I'll do what Lyle tries to do. Right?
You've got to do this. It's fun.
You've got to shoot your shot. You've got to shoot your shot. And this is a question for Mick.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a world that exists in your head where 3 and 4 swap places?
What did I do to you?
I'm just asking. Mick's the only one that I know you won't agree. I'm just asking the question.
Great. Like Tsushima's a fantastic game.
Let me to answer the question. Let me just say, if Adam had put the list the other way around, I would feel the same. So
ambivalent.
Not ambivalent.
I would feel happier.
But my point is, if you said to me now, if you said you can either play this game or this game next year, pick one. I couldn't. I wouldn't.
Oh, come on. When I was talking about the flow state of Doom, you can't tell me you weren't right there.
Listen,
Doom Eternal was never my game of the year. Ghost of Tsushima was a
game of the year, but I'm just saying.
No, but that level of game was mine.
Yeah.
I want to play all 5 of these games. Let's not pretend I don't like Doom. I just really love Tsushima, man.
You know what though?
Like Ghost of Doom's the only one I'm going to be able to play and complete in like 10 to 12 hours, though. Do you know what I mean?
You're a pro at 60-hour games now.
Yeah, that's all I do. I mean, I bet Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo have stopped making those games that are short as well now. Their games are all like, hang on, how come this 2D Zelda's 20 hours long?
Yeah, that's true.
The point I'm making is
Prime's not a short game. Not really.
The point I'm making is that 3 of these games I really, really, really want to play. And they're in 2, 3, and 4 as it is. I think as long as Monster Hunter Wilds doesn't move, I can live with. See, that looks better already.
The only thing, Lyle, I know, Lyle, trust me, I know. However, what I had forgotten is Ghost of Yotai is on Chris White's list, whereas Doom is not.
That's fair, and also I haven't
and
played
GTA 6
Ghost of Tsushima, so I can't really. It's the same as Mick with Metroid Prime, where I can't pretend like that I can fight that battle. Because Ghost of Tsushima is like it was Mick's actual game of the year that year. You know,
I would also be astonished if Sony allowed the next go after Tsushima. What we had,
I was going to say
Ghost of Tsushima. We had the DLC. We had director's cut, PC version. I would be astonished if they let it.
As well.
Yeah,
I think, like you said about the 3, I think all 4 of these will be in the conversation, and I think it would, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, there's an argument for the 5th one. I think it would just be,
let's lock
4 especially.
Let's lock it. Let's lock it. In 5th place for most anticipated of 2025 is Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. In 4th place is Doom: The Dark Ages. In 3rd place is Ghost of Yotai. In 2nd place, Monster Hunter Wilds. And the most anticipated game for next year is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
I feel like
chuck it in the bucket and move on.
I feel like we never get to this year where that was ever on the list. So I'm so happy.
So it all comes down to that final thing then, the final thing of squeezing loads of games into a top 10. And we've actually tried to be a little bit preemptive and get it down to games that at least someone genuinely thinks is a top 10 contender, which we do that every year. Never mind. Last year, the winner was Sea of Stars, and the top 10 was made up of, in reverse order from 10th down, to Shadow Gambit, Final Fantasy 16, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, Octopath Traveler 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Remnant 2, and as I say, Sea of Stars 1.
What a list.
Yeah.
26 games
for everybody
on a short list here. 26 games. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Astrobot, Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Dragon's Dogma 2, Ayuden Chronicles, 100 Heroes, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, Bow, Path of the Teal Lotus, The Plucky Squire, The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, Zenless Zone Zero, Balatro, Stellar Blade, Satisfactory, Cryptmaster, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Black Myth Wukong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Metaphor Refantasio, Warhammer Space Marine 2, Life is Strange Double Exposure, UFO 50, and Silent Hill 2.
Fucking hell, where do you even start?
Well, we start with Satisfactory.
Oh, okay.
Don't act surprised. we it's on the list, but because it came out this year officially, but the truth of the matter is that nobody played their most time with it this year. And so it feels a little disingenuous saying that game we've been playing in early access for 5 years beats some of these other games that came out this year as brand new experiences that we'd never heard of this game, never played this. We had been playing it. And let's face it, Satisfactory has been very good for very long, hasn't it? Like 1.0 didn't make it a 10. It kind of already was.
Yeah, no, that is true. Actually, it's not like the early access was a 7 and then they added toilet flushing and now it's a 10, right? I think I think it's right to call it out though, for what it is. It's if you like conveyor belts or factory automation and stuff, which I know, Mick, there couldn't be a genre further away.
Hey, you liked Foundry.
Oh, I played the hell out of Foundry this year. Early access.
You should like this. Well,
I probably would like Satisfactory. It's hard for me to dedicate time to that kind of game when it's a
time sink and a half. Yeah. I will say that you can't just go, I'll try this for half an hour. That's not how this game works. I think you know that from Foundry. I think, but I think you're right, Adam. It's certainly been a game that's championed, a studio that's been championed from this team a lot.
I will say that I have installed Satisfactory about 3 times and just never.
Oh, keep it. It's been installed.
It's going.
It's not there now. But yeah.
It's going.
R.I.P. Everyone should play it. Conveyors love forever.
That's it. Call it. 25. It's not 25 this year.
Yeah.
In that order. Go on then. Be brave.
The Plucky Squire's not on this list, right?
The Plucky Squire.
No, we get rid of it on the first cut every time, or the first few. And again, on this list, it wouldn't be on mine, and I think I liked it the most. It's not on my top 10. It's not. I don't think it's my top 20 of the year. So.
Well,
it's
I've
very
got
nice.
2. Everyone else can have it now.
I've got one that I think only me and Adam played it, I think.
Oh.
And even though we both really, really, really liked it.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this so early.
Oh, well, it doesn't have to be. Someone else can go and I can hold it. But as much as we really, really, really liked it, I dropped off it a little bit quicker.
You're talking about Zenless Zone Zero, right?
I am indeed, yeah. But only me and you really played it at all, I think. As good. I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere because Genshin Impact was very good. We never played Honkai before Zenless, but we'd heard how good Honkai was, but Zenless Zone Zero took me by surprise because if you remember, I'd played it pre-release and it was just one of the most dense and incomprehensible things to get my head around initially. But everything in that game, every negative about that game falls away when you start fighting something. The combat in that game is it's just fucking amazing.
It is lovely.
It is superb, and it looks fucking. I can't even remember if we had it in best visuals, but we probably should have because the animation and the colors it's just a fantastic game. It loses something in between the fights. I think some of the go here, go there, like side quest talky stuff. I think that's good.
Simple.
It's good downtime in between the fights because if it was just fighting, I think it would get a little bit too much. But the synergy of the characters themselves, and the move sets, and it's a fucking dazzling game, and I love it.
I have just realised something. Should the Thaumaturge not be on this list somewhere?
Shit, yes.
Probably should.
That's a weird one not to have there.
Please put it on, yes.
There we go, we'll swap that out.
So we'll cut Zenless.
Let's cut Zenless.
And add the Thaumaturge.
Let me just check the rest of my list. I
thought it was on there, but it definitely wasn't. As I was reading it, I was like, hang on.
Yeah, I have another that I want adding onto this list.
Oh, go on.
Can we add Mini Shoot onto this list, please?
If you want.
You can take it back off again.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
It's very good.
It is, yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's on my top 10, so...
Is it?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why I asked you to add it on.
I don't know why I acted all surprised then. It was pretty obvious that's why, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, why else? Yeah. All my top 10 are on here somewhere currently.
I'm not going to add the 3 that aren't on from my top 10. It's fine.
Can I ask a question of whether I think a game that's probably not anyone's top 10?
Yeah, go on then.
I'd be surprised, but I've been wrong before, Is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink on anyone's top 10?
I thought it might be on yours. That's why I didn't dive on it.
I think it's a nicest.
It's in my honourable mentions.
Might be.
It's in my mentions.
It's very close. I liked it, but it's not. Doesn't make it for me.
No. It might not even stay in my mentions now after this last week. But
yeah. So in which case, if it's in no one's, it's not in Chris White. No.
Okay.
So I think we should at least go after games that are in no one's top 10 first.
I've got one that I don't believe is in anybody's top 10.
Okay.
It's kind of spicy because of what it is, but I don't think any of us would fight for it to stay in the top 10, which is Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Is that clinging to anybody's list still?
It's an honourable mention for me, but it's not top 10.
Because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And that's not fair on the game necessarily. It is what it is. And a lot of people were very happy with it. And I scored it I think I gave it like a 9. I really enjoyed playing it.
Dragon's Dogma 1.5. We joke about that, but there's the reason why it was on our most anticipated, right? Because we all like Dragon's Dogma. We liked what that gave us back then. I just think it didn't quite do enough.
I mean, look, I played Dragon's Dogma 1 last year again. I think I've been through that game and Dark Arisen maybe 3 times fully. I don't think I'll go back to Dragon's Dogma 2 unless there's DLC, which I don't see there being. But unless they do a big DLC, then I'll go back to it. Otherwise, I liked it, but it took me 15 hours to fall in love with it. And then when I was done, I was just done.
I can't pretend I didn't put 60 hours into this thing, right?
Yeah, I did. It's my third most played game of the year, according to
thanks, PlayStation. But I can't pretend that didn't happen, and I can't pretend I hated it because I actually think the combat with the different weapons, some of them are actually really, really good combat-wise, and a lot of the different combat options, apart from that fucking
the weird
one.
Was it the trickster?
The trickster was weird, but all the others felt like really viable. But it's not good enough. I don't think it's not top 10 for us as a group.
And that's what I thought. If we're cutting,
I think that's fair.
I've got one that I also think isn't on anyone's list because it's not on mine anymore, and that's Bow Path of the Teal Lotus.
Yeah, it's not on mine. I didn't gel with it, but I probably should give it more time than I did.
I really, really liked it. I thought it was, a very fun game and a really good Metroid. It's in my honourable mentions, like a really, really good Metroidvania with like.
My trouble with it is that they've sort of listened to a lot of feedback from a lot of quarters, and I don't even know if the game I played is the one I'd be recommending now.
Huh.
It feels like they've patched it quite.
Really aware of that.
Yeah, like the.
And I played the demo and never got to the full game.
The penultimate chase boss.
Yeah.
I think they've changed that because it was dreadful for checkpoints, so I think they've changed that as well. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll cut it.
But I think that's an easy one. I've got another easy one that is on my top 10, but I don't think it's getting anywhere near. And that's The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, because we know that Chris Hyde actively doesn't particularly like it as a Zelda game, or didn't click with it. Whatever way we want to say nicely that it would be shut down by it.
It's not on my top 10. I will stop there. I don't want to shit on it. I just have, like I said the other day, I have high standards for Zelda games, and at the moment that hasn't tickled my Zelda funny bone in the same way as other games in that series have. That's all.
But let it be known that I would have fought for a Zelda game this year, so this isn't my fault.
What do you think, Adam? Is it on yours?
No, it's not. It's hovering.
Did it tickle your Zelda Oblongata?
No, it's hovering between like 10 and 12 constantly.
Yeah.
Fully so. No.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if I added it and everyone was like, why the fuck have you added that? Like, is Mini Shoot really going to stay the distance here? Like, I loved it and it's on my top 10, but if it's not,
I liked it. I wouldn't knock it as a game. I enjoyed it. But it wouldn't make my top 10.
Yeah, I love it, though. It's a great game.
It's a very interesting concept as well, the way they do it, because I didn't know until you guys told me that it's kind of a Metroidvania. I didn't know that's what it was. I thought it was just a shooter, like
more of a linear shooter type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but so when I did finally play it, exclusively on Steam Deck because it plays lovely on Steam Deck, I really liked it. But yeah, it's not stayed on any of my lists.
Chris?
I mean, like I say, for me, it feels like one of those where it's one person, and I'm not going to say here it's in my top 3, right? It's quite low down on my top 10, and it's one person.
Okay.
So
Well,
therefore, the
I
maths
think
of
that
it means it's not going to get in our top 10.
I think that goes in by the same logic, so does Cryptmaster.
Yeah, I'd say it's, again, not quite my... It's in the upper half of my list, Cryptmaster. I really, really like it, but it is another one where it's like, it's not the very, very top. There are some that it's going to be maybe just me fighting for, or me and a bit of a couple of other people that I would be fighting for harder than Cryptmaster. So it's not worth me putting the extra effort into Cryptmaster, which is fucking brilliant.
Can I
but they're all brilliant.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Is Life is Strange Double Exposure going to make the cut of this?
No, it's not. It's Chris White's number 7, I think. So
yeah, I feel like that's kind of similar to the games we're at now, where it's like one person.
Yeah,
but it's
I think
low on that one
and
person.
I think Kunitsugami are both.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah,
that Kunitsugami is not on anyone else's list, and it's like number 9 on Chris's.
Yeah, so I feel like those two are kind of Chris White's equivalent to what we've just been talking about.
Yeah, easy cut.
Another one, like we're ripping through these quite fast, but how much
ranking's going to take a while, just so you're
it will do
your expectations. But
no, I know. Well, hey, it's not my first rodeo.
Yeah,
but
fair.
We how much has anyone played apart from Chris White at this point? And it pains me to do it because I've played 2 hours of it and I love it. But Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Lyle, you said you were on a mission.
I played quite a bit more. I didn't play as much more as I expected because I fell off it a little bit at like hours sort of 6 and 7 because I kind of got to a point where I was failing. There's quite a bit of stealth in the game, and I wasn't doing very well at it. So I just sort of realised that I could very easily brute force the combat, and it made it all a bit trivial. So I just started hitting everyone, and it was
you can
fine.
stack the bodies in that game. Quite comfortably.
And I just sort of like, I mean, I really like it as a concept. I like the whole like exploring. I think like solving the puzzles and stuff like that is really cool.
I just think there could be, if there's somewhere going to tussle over.
Yeah, I think. It's if I was putting it and just pretending I'd like played loads of it. If I was putting it on my own personal sort of list, it would be like it wouldn't be making a top 10 or honourable mentions. It'd be like, this is a great game that came out this year.
It doesn't crack my top 10 either. Like it is really fun, and I really, really like it. I think they've absolutely nailed it. But it doesn't crack my top 10. I don't think.
That's what I suspected.
Bye, Indy.
The only other one on there that stands out to me, and I hate to do it, but I have to, is UFO 50.
Yeah, I think it has to go too.
Well, that was going to be near where I was going to go next.
Because
wince I did it because I feel like that's what I've been doing all week.
I know Lyle really, really liked it. I think Adam, you quite liked it as well.
I do like it, but it's not on my top 10.
How high is it on yours, Lyle?
It is within the top 3.
Yeah, that's.
It is. You know, it is a game that I have fucking adored this year.
By that, do you mean it's third? Just to be clear.
I do mean it's third. I'm not trying to reveal my
in the top 6.
It is. It's within the top 3. I could. My 3 and 2 have shuffled a few times, so it could change, but.
So still go to the site and read Lyle's top 10.
Plus, I'll talk about how much I love UFO 50, so you can find out more about
that. We've got some super tough cuts coming, I think.
Yes.
Genuinely, I'm looking at this list and going, any of the remainder could stay on a top 10, in my opinion. So it's.
I mean, it's.
In fact, my top 10 is still on the list.
Of course, it's fucking are.
I can change.
Not for long, I don't think. Not for long.
I can change that because I think Black Myth Wukong doesn't make the top 10.
Oh, what? That's my number 1, Adam.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought
it's on my top 10.
No, I shuffled earlier on when I was planning for this. That's my number 1. I think that game's fucking spectacular.
I think I wouldn't suggest we cut it now. I think the only reason if it doesn't make on the top 10 would be purely on the basis of the amount of people that have actually played it, not the.
That's why I was guessing for.
I've played it.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay. Sorry, I did not.
I've kept quiet about a few games for the for the finale.
That. How much have you played, mate? I know Adam's played a little bit as well.
I think I've probably played a similar amount to Adam before bouncing off, which I kind of expected. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, I don't want to disparage it either because I know it is, you know. I mean, it's Mick's number 1. If Mick's saying this is number 1, I think it's not an easy cut, you know?
Okay, well, is an easy cut Iodine Chronicles then?
So that's on my list, but I'd rather cut that than if I was voting.
Iodine Chronicles has just dropped into my honorable mentions. It's literally, I think, number 11.
and it's my 10.
Well,
So
that's
not on
that's
mine.
that then, isn't it? That's easy.
Yeah, that's
Such a lovely game. I'm so glad it exists,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I can put one of mine on. I can offer one of mine on the sacrificial altar if you like, because I don't think anyone else
It's
is
an
going
odd
to
way of
back me
doing
on
it, I
it.
suppose, but
Well, I don't think anyone else is going to back Space Marine 2.
it's great, but I can't. I kept
And
meaning
that
to
is
go back.
that's my number 3. But I think I'm the only one who's really invested any time in it. I'm the only one invested in the universe, certainly.
Is it on Chris White's?
No.
Has he played it?
No.
Well, I think that definitely goes before Black Myth because it's on 2 of ours, Nick, and you know you're number 1.
And look, but it had its time. It was on it was on the multiplayer list. I think it survived.
Yeah. It got like 2, didn't it? Number 2.
Yeah. So and look, it's fantastic. Really, really good. Excellent game. But yeah, I think I'm the only one that's going to argue for that, and it's fine.
4 to go, and then we have a 10.
God, that's not bad, is it?
Do we cut UFO 50? Because we sort of
probably do
talked
have to
about it and then
bounce
sort
back
of
to
like
it and-
didn't commit.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can actually get this down to 2 less very quickly if we're cutting UFO 50. It's Chris White's number 3, but has anyone got Silent Hill 2 on their list?
No, I didn't really like it.
Haven't played it. Lyle didn't like it much. I think if I recall correctly.
I haven't played it. It was
for
the
a
one
site
big game I
list-
missed.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to get. Hey, if it's getting rid of 2 at the same time as well, I'll be much more. I'll decide to be nicer about UFO 50.
Right, it's time. Is it time to get really cunty now?
Well, are we cutting them? I'm not 100% sure.
So I
would
think
say, yeah.
I feel like if it's one person,
Exactly
like.
that.
It's the same reason I cut Space Marine. You know,
Isn't it the same as UFO 50? Is it because
they're
Lars
both-
3 and it's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
him? Like it's the
They're both
same. Like it's the same sort of level, isn't it?
It only seems fair. I think Mick cut his 3 as well. Like all the
Should-
3s have gone.
Should we have a quick look back then? Because we have got.
Yeah, we've got
so
12 now. This is
Dragon-
easy.
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, Astrobot, Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, The Thaumaturge, Balatro, Stellar Blade, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Black Myth Wukong, Metaphor Fantasio, and from that 2 have got to go.
Can I offer up one
Yeah, go on.
and see how much I'm hated for it? I think Lyle knows where this is going, so I'll just say it.
Too.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you are.
Metaphor
Oh,
Fantasio.
okay. No, I was completely wrong.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not in my top 3. The measure of
I was
how
going to say it's not in your top 10 then. I was like,
it
what?
is in my top 10. It's high up. I really like this game.
Is it in Whitey's?
Oh,
Is it in
no,
Whitey's
I don't
10?
think it is. No, I don't think it is.
Is it in yours, Adam?
No, it's not in mine. No, it's not in either of ours.
Oh, yeah,
That
like
seems a
it
fair
doesn't
cut.
make sense. I loved this game. I maybe not as much as every Persona game, but as far as RPGs go, that's about as like high praise as I can give for most of them. But
Fairly high bar.
Yeah, pretty high bar there. But yeah, I mean, because I know if Chris and Adam, you both played it, and it's not in your top 10s as well.
It's a very good game.
Yeah,
Like, we're getting to the point now where we're cutting, recommendations. It's just
100%, and I think that's totally fair. Yeah, I think it's done very well. I fucking love it. But yeah,
Blimey.
One to go.
Final cut.
I'd like to ask about a game because I didn't click with it that much, and I'm not sure how high up it is for everyone, but I think quite a lot of people liked it, so it could go either way. But I'd like to ask about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
I was just going to talk about that.
Because it was very early in the year, so I wasn't sure how it had landed on people's lists by the end of it, you know?
Apart from the one game on this list that I haven't played much of, Prince of Persia would be 11.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in my top 10,
It's in my top 10.
but it's in the bottom half.
It's in the bottom half of mine. It is. Hang on. Yeah, but I say bottom half. I don't need to show my hand. Bottom half, but high in the bottom half.
No, not top 3. The other.
Not top 3.
Measure is either top 3 or bottom.
Not bottom 3. Let's just say not bottom 3.
Okay.
There's that sort of, top of the bottom half area for me. So,
yeah.
is it in Chris White's?
Don't think so. No. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his top 10 are gone. So
it's 9 on my top 10. It is still in my top 10. It is number 9.
Okay. So it could sneak on if there's something else people think is a cut they'd rather go for. Like I
can't imagine anything else coming off that list from my point of view. I can't. I know Adam mentioned Black Myth Wukong, but I don't. No.
That was just personal. But I think honestly, the one I'd cut right now.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Is Stellar Blade.
Yeah, I was wondering. That was my other.
That's the one that stands out to me on this list. See, I would sooner keep Prince of Persia than Stellar Blade. I think.
See, I'd cut the Thaumaturge because I didn't fall in love with the Thaumaturge like you guys did. I had real big problems with the combat.
Well, I'd say that in that respect, then it's the Thaumaturge or Stellar Blade, but I think either of them. I
thought you were going to say the Thaumaturge.
No, I really liked it.
No, it's on my list. I'm just thinking of the room there with my my shout.
I don't think I would fight against Thaumaturge staying because it's good. But if I had to lose something, it would be Prince of Persia or Thaumaturge for me.
Is that Stellar Blade is only on yours and my list, and I've forgotten what number it is on mine. So I don't know.
1, 2. It's my number 5. So
yeah, I mean, it's not that high for me. It's in. I think I have it in my top 10, but if I do, it's quite low down because I still haven't finished it. So I feel weird even.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Stellar Blade's really good, right? It came out a long time ago now. It's a really, really good game. But these are all really, really good games now. And let's be honest, if it's 11. Is that if it's the 11th best game of all the games this year?
It's fucking good.
I could live with it. Yeah. And the Thaumaturge, I think. See, Stellar Blade, I just really liked because it's a really good game. I can't muster the passion for it. It's a really good game. Really liked it. But the passion for Thaumaturge from sort of you and Chris Hyde and Chris White, I think outweighs.
I just think the Thaumaturge is a really interesting video game. Like it's so different from everything else.
Because Thaumaturge isn't a game that I said, like, I didn't click with it like you guys did, but it's not a game where I went, oh, this is bad. I still really enjoyed the game. I think it's really clever. I think it's really different and unique, like we said the other day. Yeah. Victor's a great character and all that. And I think that Stellar Blade falls down in terms of its kind of its stories a little bit, what the fuck, and you know what I mean? So I think, and if Prince of Persia The Lost Crown is the one that we're saying probably stays because we all loved that, then I think Stellar Blade is fair. I think that's a fair cut, and then we're there. We're at the 10.
But I think Prince of Persia drops down the list from where it's.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I was going to say. Does it mean that the Thaumaturge is 10?
I think so.
Which is not a bad thing, I don't think. When I'm looking at these, I do have some questions about some other games, but I think it's a deserving, like I say, 10. It's not saying, oh, shit you at the bottom, Victor. Like I think. There's enough love for it.
So what I was going to ask. We haven't talked about Balatro yet.
I was going to ask about Balatro.
I think that I know where Lyle has that on his list. I think. Yeah. But I think that means it drops a few down from where it is currently to just above Prince of Persia.
Yeah. So Balatro, I came in too late. It's not on my list at all. I like it. It came in late to me because I didn't play it until sort of only a few weeks ago, and I do think it's great, but I don't think it has the legs for me to say this is a game I'm going to play and play and play. It's a 5-minute time killer game.
It's a game very, that very well made more than anything else that's not Fortnite this year.
But I just don't think it's. I don't know. It doesn't feel like Game of the Year stuff to me. Like necessarily, it's good, but it's one of those games that feels to me like a curio, like something that.
It's hard, right? I remember last year when my number 1 was low on the top 10, right? So I get it, but like I feel like this one is a bit unique in the sense that it's your number 1, Lyle, but it is on no one else's list of top 10.
Am I allowed to call Steve? Can we patch Steve in real quick?
No,
because let me tell you. No,
but do you know what I mean? Like it's like one, it's like 1 nothing, so it can't get too high.
100%. And I'm honestly, I'm really happy it made the top 10. This is a game that more than any other. And sorry, UFO 50, we're very close to also being that game I really wanted on the top 10. But I knew I wasn't getting 2 games that were just me championing them on there. So Balatro being one of them.
I think Balatro's probably should be 10. To be honest, I think Thaumaturge has more love globally than.
He was so happy, and now he's like,
thanks. Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Now starts talking, and we drop it 2 places.
Yeah, well, that's the power of the word. Let me tell you.
Well, is that what we're saying or not? There is the issue only on your list.
Yeah, no.
I think that is the only reason why it would be 10. Like,
it's
not it's not diminishing the fact that it's your number 1. 100%. It's just really hard when it's one person.
It's disappointing that you're all monsters, but other than that, it's totally should be 10th. Yes, I agree. It makes sense. It does.
Does Black?
Sorry, Steve. I got it there.
From where it's at, or is that as high as that goes?
I think we can't rewrite the rules just for Lyle, right? I feel like if we're saying yes, it's mixed number 1, but then there's only me that's championing it on top of that, it can't go very high, can it?
That's what I'm saying. Is it?
I feel like it's probably
because he's
there.
number 1 and you love it.
I wonder if it is, and I'm saying that not because I don't love it, Mick, but I'm in the position where I think by the time I finish it, it may creep up further up my list, but I can't say for definite. What I found with this game, and it's another reason why I think people should play more of it, is that I played Chapter 1, thought this is a really good game. I've just played Chapter 2 now and very near the end, and I think it's a fucking fantastic game, like what's opened up and what happens to it and how it grows. So it's one of those, I'm not saying you guys have to persevere with it if you bounced off it, but I do think it is definitely one of those games that you think what it is, and then you play more of it and you're like, oh no, it's actually better than that. So I've really enjoyed it. So that's why it's done enough for me to creep in, and it might creep up further. But I think for now, with what I've played and mixed experience, I think it would be disingenuous to put it higher than 7th, personally.
I'd like to ask, because of the other games, it feels like a lot of them are going to be hard to push any lower than something like Wukong. I don't know where Helldivers lands with everyone, because that's one where it's been...
I have a theory about Helldivers. The
thing about Helldivers is I would put Helldivers at 7 before I did Black Myth, because we did all drop off it quite hard.
Yeah, but I will say the same about Black. That what I'm doing now, and I'm sorry to the people who are just listening, but that's what I would do based on. Personally,
where is it on people's lists?
It's not on mine at all, because it was just...
It is 6 on mine.
Because it's not on mine.
Right. So,
but not because I didn't enjoy it, but because my life has been swamped by single player experiences this year. And
I also think Helldivers 2 is not quite the game it was when we were all playing it and loving it. I think they've done some strange things to it in the sake of balancing.
So what about that as a bottom 5?
I like that more now. Now you've done it.
Where is Adam and Chris is out of interest?
I think that's it.
That's even better, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
I think I actually like that more.
I do like it being represented in the top 10.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like
that as a thing. And I did really enjoy it, and I wanted to play.
I couldn't envisage a top 10 this year where it's not on there.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
I do think it being at number 10 for those listening. I think that's
worth noting that it is on Chris White's list, but it's number 8. It's on Mix, and he said 5, and it's no one else's, so it should go below Blacktroke.
That's fair.
But
I think that's right.
That's the bottom 5.
So we've locked the bottom 5, but they may change when we do. No, I'm joking.
No,
we locked the bottom 3 and then we've changed it. But I think that's better. That
bottom 5 is that's a solid 5.
So the bottom 5 are what? Should we say them out loud for?
We can
really happy that my top 5 is in the top 5.
10th place so far. Helldivers 2, then Balatro, then the Thaumaturge, Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown,
4 in
Black
there,
Myth, Wukong, and then we've got 5 to arrange in our top 5. So
yeah.
I can't be unhappy. Yeah, I cannot be made unhappy.
No, Lyle's devastated.
I am not devastated at all.
This is going to be tough, though. This is going to be tasty. Do we need to talk about Chris White's list now? I think we sort of do.
Leave it like that and we're done. I'm not even kidding. I'm genuinely
Mick's just
nice to know if your hand.
4 and 5 I'm happy with. 1, 2, and 3 I'm looking at, and I'm like,
let's discuss them. Let's give him their time. Let's give them.
That's the thing is we have though. We've talked about them all week, so this is why we're like ranking them quickly.
That's true,
because we have talked about these games all week.
For me,
I think 4 and 5 are right. In that
4's
order
my
as well,
number
I think
2.
they're in that.
4's my number 2, and 5 is my number 4. So.
Jesus,
Well,
this is how we're doing it. So hang on. So 4's my number 4. Jesus. And 5's my number 2, just to be an absolute arsehole.
Let's discuss them then. Let's go, Adam. What do you want to discuss first? Let's talk.
I'm with you. I'm not. I think Banishers has done very well and is a wonderful game, but I don't think it cracks the top 3 as they are on this list of
not for the site,
Astro
and that's
and
fine.
Final Fantasy Rebirth. I don't think Dragon Age can go much higher than 4. And I
don't think Dragon Age can go higher than 5. I don't believe Dragon Age should be higher than 5.
It's 5th.
How do you feel, Chris, about Dragon Age in 5? Because I know that's a big one for you, and I'm interested.
So it's my number 2, like I just said.
Yeah.
And I am super aware that it's an affinity game for me. I mean, Jesus. When I was doing my list, this top 5 was the easiest top 5 in terms of choosing the 5. And then the hardest thing was putting them in an order, right? And I may change that order between now and writing the thing to committing it to the site. So I'm happy in that sense. So I don't disagree if it's a site thing. I don't know where it is in Chris's. If it's there,
Dragon Age is 4th, Banishers is 6th. What if we did? Oh shit! This is why I shouldn't be allowed spreadsheets. That and locked in the bottom 7.
I don't like that. I don't think Dragon Age is better than Banishers. I don't think it should be above Banishers.
Harder, though, so I'm not as.
Banishers has won too many things this year to say that I just don't believe that Dragon Age was a better game than Banishers. I think Dragon Age had more problems overall than Banishers.
You might have a point.
I mean, I reviewed them both and gave them both 9. So
what if we do that then, and we worry what how's that, and then we worry about the top 3?
Like I say, I love all these games, so I find it really hard. Like I think, like, when you changed it, I was like, well, that pleases me more because it's more aligned to my top 10. But I also don't care enough, I think, as Mick does care about them reversing back. So
it's not like it's you seeing it there.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the whole one we had in the previous one about like Doom versus Ghost of Yota. Like, so you didn't care, but I did, so we did it. Like, do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's the reverse here. Like, I love Dragon Age, but I love Banishers, so I don't. I think the next 3 are going to be interesting, and I might
piss some people off. 3, are we locking that bottom 7?
Yeah,
Lyle,
I'm okay with that. Yeah,
I'm guessing from Chris's list, he's okay with that. He's weird, isn't he?
It's difficult because, as I say, Dragon Age is 4th for him, and Banishers is 6th. But I don't think he's finished Banishers, so
yeah. Also, fair.
It's weird, right? Because I reckon I could make one change here. And I think we've done it, but it doesn't feel very dramatic or it feels a bit anticlimactic.
You can't make that many changes. There's only 3 games left.
No, but I think I've got it. I think I've cracked the code. I genuinely.
Are you thinking of changing 2 and 3 or 1 and 2?
Well, neither of those changes.
Oh, no,
1 and 3.
1 and 3.
1
I
and
was
3
thinking of changing, and I think that's it. And I know, and that's not going to please everyone, but they can't.
3 is higher on my list than the other 2. I mean, one of them's not on my list. I didn't play much of Like a Dragon, but I understand they've got the passion you guys have for it, so I wouldn't even suggest moving it anywhere lower than 3. But I think that the same change is what I would do. I would go Rebirth, Astrobot, Like a Dragon.
Like I say, I know it's a bit of an anticlimax, but that's my suggestion.
I mean, Rebirth is lower on my list. Rebirth is like 7 on my list, but I get it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I would. Me personally, I would do Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Astrobot. Astrobot's
I think Astrobot's 3. I do think Astrobot's 3. As much as I love it, I do think it's.
Well, 3. I'd like to argue with that. Thank you very much, Mick.
Of course you would.
Of course you can.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about Like a Dragon because for me, this was the year where I was excited to try and get into Like a Dragon. I was really looking forward to being like, this is going to be the series, and I just couldn't.
I relate.
at all. Like I was get told about loads of these different side quests, and like, oh, there's this one that's like Crazy Taxi, and it's like, yeah, it's sort of like if Crazy Taxi was not very fun, and like the pacing of how it all worked and how open it was. I didn't understand the love at all, and I don't want to be like, so, you know, because I know that other people are incredibly passionate about it, but it's a game where for me, like, it's hard to not think, well, I fucking loved these other games, you know, and this one I didn't really at all. Whereas I know a lot of people really love all the games up here. Yeah, so it's like, I want to put that out there and be like, well, it would definitely not be.
No, I think
of these three, you know,
think you have to factor it in, don't you? Right? I think if there's games on here that everyone loves, that's different to if there's games on here that only some people love. That makes a difference when you're doing a list for everybody, right? So I don't think it's a bad shout.
I couldn't get into it. I've tried a few times. I didn't dislike what I played, but it was the same as Like a Dragon a couple of years ago. You know, I played quite a lot of it, but eventually I just dropped off it because it's not my sort of thing. They're a bit too wacky for me, and
so I think, but it feels to me then, given for the group, what you said, Adam, is right. It's not my top 5. It's my number 1, which I love, but it's not my top. It's not the order I'd put the top 5 in. But I don't think that's right. It's the site's one, and I think if with this top 3, well, I mean, maybe we need to argue between Astrobot and Rebirth. But it sounds to me, if there's 2 people on the 5, and where's Chris got Infinite Wealth?
Number 1.
Of course, he has.
Where's it on your list, Adam? Because you haven't.
I haven't got really my list to hand, and I can't remember. But
it's
top
3 on mine.
It's not 1, right?
I think
you know what
3.
your number 1 is.
I think I remember what I've chosen as number 1.
Maybe,
possibly.
Because out of the other 2, if we are sort of leaning towards, and we won't lock in, you know, Like a Dragon as 3 for definite, but if we were, for me, of the other 2, I didn't want to reveal it earlier, but Astrobot is my number 1. It wasn't Balatro. My number 1 is Astrobot. Astrobot was the easiest 10 out of 10 I've ever given.
Why the heck do we keep Balatro in the top 10 then?
Because I really like it. It's fine. You said it was my number 1. I just didn't want to argue while it was sneaking.
You didn't say it wasn't. You didn't say it was. To be fair,
yeah, and you said it, and I was like, "Oh, that's
I didn't not steal that bread."
Yeah,
basically,
I didn't not steal it. It's fine. Yeah, that's locked anyway. So just calm down.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't care really. It's fine. Carry on.
It was for Steve. Okay. So yeah, so for me, like Astrobot is the easiest 10 out of 10 I've ever given. It's my favorite 3D platformer ever. I know I remember hearing you and Adam talk about how, you know, you didn't quite think it was to the same level as Odyssey on a podcast, which is a stupidly, like, it's not as good as the best thing ever, like, statement to be, like, saying it's bad. But for me, I think the sort of linear level...
Interesting you're throwing out the word stupid. Keep going.
You know?
It's fine. It's fine.
I think I have played an awful lot of Astrobot and I played an awful lot of Final Fantasy VII. If I had to choose where that is, Astrobot, like I said, I would have put it at 3, but I didn't want to challenge Like a Dragon. I didn't want to have that conversation where we challenged it at all because I figured it was going to be high. I knew it was going to be number 1 on a couple of people's lists. There wasn't any point. And I didn't want to do a repeat of last year where I was vehemently against a game that everyone loved because it's no fun for anybody. And but out of what's left,
you should embrace your Lyle.
Well, if we're going to lock, well, it should be more crafty, it seems. But if we're going to lock,
deception is the way.
Yeah, but if we're going to lock in Like a Dragon, if that is staying at 3, we're not going to move 4 to 10. Then I think
that's the right call.
I do think site-wise, that's the list. Regardless of it being Lyle's 10 or no, Lyle's number 1 or who's number 1 or whatever, I think everyone's number 1 is still on this list.
I'm going to check my list in progress.
I'd flip 1 and 2. Yeah, I would.
Look, we've talked a lot about this year being a celebration of games. That's what we've said. We've said it all along from the beginning. This year, no negativity, and I think we've carried that really well. Very few wobbles this year like last year. As a celebration of games, I don't think there's another game this year that's done that like Astrobot. and I know it's mostly PlayStation stuff and what have you, but it's the game. There's nothing negative in that game. And I'm not saying it's a perfect game, but if I'd have reviewed that game, I'd have given it a 10. I think Adam would have, pretty sure. Yeah. Either of the Chris's would have. I just don't think I don't think we've had a more. I'm not saying objectively it's the best game but I mean, pick a bad mechanic in that game, pick a bad piece of music in that game, pick more than maybe one level that's not quite fantastic.
Don't pull out the negatives. We've done so well that he's challenging us.
I think you're not allowed
to. This is my point. You can, by all means, go for it, but I don't think you'll find many.
I could not. I could not realistically. The one negative in the review was that they didn't show the names of the bots.
Yeah. And it's like, and I mean,
means anything,
you could argue there's a lot of fan service in there, but who cares? We're fans, and fan service caters to us, and that's fucking amazing. Yeah. So I just think. I
don't know if I've ever played. I don't think I've ever played a game that's made me smile more than Astrobot. Like, I was in just a state of fucking glee playing that game.
And I will say, for the record, I gave Final Fantasy VII Rebirth a 10, and I would do it again.
Yep.
I've given a couple of 10s this year, actually. Black Myth Wukong was a 10 from me. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was. But I don't think... I'm not going to knock Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but if I had to list... If someone said to put a gun to my head and said, do some negatives now, I'd find a lot more with Final Fantasy VII.
The only issue with this, and I'll break the fourth wall a bit and say, Chris and I have talked about this off podcast. I had a feeling that this was going to come down to these two games, and the reason I find it so difficult to choose between them is what you're saying is true. It's factually true, the best kind of true. But you are comparing a 15 to 20 hour tight experience designed against a 60-hour minimum RPG with open environments and additional mechanics.
But I still argue that there's a lot of fat and filler in Final Fantasy Rebirth, and even if I like that,
but I'm saying that
it could have been a 40-hour
compare the two
experience.
Feels like literally doing the apples and oranges thing. So I have had these two at my number one through various stages since playing and finishing them both, and I don't think we're going to get to the number one without just cutting it down to brass tacks and taking a vote on it. It's that simple.
I think that's fair.
Okay, yeah.
Because I just don't see a way around it, because these are potentially the two best games of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I won't, and again, I won't disagree with the thing Mick said. Like Astrobot, like Lyle said, the flaw that he picked out is, I mean, good God, in the interest of balance, you put something in the negative column, but really you don't want to sometimes, and that's one of those games where you really don't want to. It's rare that you are writing a review and you think, I can't think of a single negative. That's a rare thing. It is definitely aided in that because it's a shorter experience. You don't have to platinum it. You don't have to get every bot. You could just go through the game and, perfect, loved it, whatever, move on. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Everything, though.
Yeah,
Jesus.
No, so did I, and I've gone back since and got the additional trophies and everything. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you can't compare that in the same way for me because it's just such a larger scale game with a lot more history. You can't play it and not compare it to what you loved. You can separate and you can go, oh, they've changed that, I don't mind, that still exists, but you're still in your mind going to be comparing it. There's no way not to. I just don't. If I'm wrong, someone tell me, but I don't see a way we get to a number one without just voting on what's number one out of those two.
I'm fine with voting. We do voting. Voting's fun.
What I will say is that due to Chris White not being here, I think it has to have his vote thrown in by proxy of which he has higher on the list.
That makes sense.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
So that means the voting starts Astrobot number. It gets it's a first vote. That is a higher game on his list than Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will vote for Rebirth, so that's 1-1. So it basically negates his vote. So, I mean, Lyle, we know, but go on. For
pretty certain I know where this is going then.
Yeah, Astrobot, yes.
Okay, so it's 2-1 Astrobot. Mick?
Astrobot.
Should have done this the other way around. That would have been a lot more. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, I should have gone to you then. Chris, where would you go?
I'd have voted Rebirth.
Okay, so
like I say, Rebirth is my number one. Astrobot's my number 5. But I can't disagree with what you were saying. I think for me personally this year, I've enjoyed the big story experiences of the other games. It's not shitting on Astrobot. I loved what when I played that. I played all of it, right? And I played all of it in a very short space of time. I loved it. But I've just really enjoyed the worlds and stories of those bigger games. They've just resonated with me. It's, well, you know, when you have some of those years, but you definitely have Adam, where you just have those years. It's been that year for me, so it's just been like I've just really got into those. So it's not. I can't disagree with everything Mick and Lala said about Astrobot and it being joyous. We said it on the normal pod, which people should listen to. You know, outside of these Game of the Year ones as well. So yeah, it's definitely not shitting on Astrobot. It's a worthy winner, but. You know, and I like the fact it's close as well. I like the fact
I would also add that it just if it makes you feel slightly better.
Very fucking
yeah, and me, because I say I voted for Rebirth. Rebirth isn't on Chris's list at all, so it sort of does make sense for it to be that way. I think, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a weird list.
Shall I read it out?
Yeah, lock it in, man.
10th place for Game of the Year 2024 is Helldivers 2. In 9th place is Balatro. In 8th place is The Thaumaturge. In 7th, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. In 6th, Black Myth Wukong. In 5th, Dragon Age, The Veilguard. In 4th, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. 3rd place is Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. And 2nd place is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Choking up. And the Game of the Year for 2024 is Astrobot. Congratulations, Astrobot.
Oh, wonderful.
A worthy winner.
We did it.
All about the love. I think we've done it. And I think that might be one of the shortest day 5s ever. Don't even know what day it is anymore. But there's the list. If you're watching a video, you can see
quality,
right
not quantity.
No, absolutely. Well, listen, we talked so much about the other games. You know, we got away without spoiling some of these games. In total, we didn't have to spoil some of the biggest plot points. We might have alluded to some, but we did it. That's it. That's us pretty much for the year in terms of podcasts. Thank you to Mick. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to Lyle. And thank you to Chris White for sending his lists in so we could make it a sort of full-on session, like, you know, and have everyone represented here. I'm
doing that next year because he did very fucking.
He did well. He didn't do so well in the top 10, actually.
That is true. Actually,
a lot of us didn't even make it. But I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank our Patreons as well, who got all of these podcasts a week early, and hopefully we'll get an extra episode with a bit of fun on it. It's been a hell of a year. 2025, as we just discovered earlier in this podcast, is looking like it's going to be another hell of a year. And I got myself excited talking about Doom. Like, I hadn't thought about that much, because we sort of just got a trailer and that was it. But I got myself super excited when I was thinking about that rhythm and like, oh god, yeah, should I go and play Doom again? No, I'm gonna have to play Metroid first. So
I need to play that now.
Oh, you will. Don't worry. I'm a man of my word. It will be with you. Don't worry. Yeah, that's kind of it. Unless anyone's got anything else they want to add, or
just want to say thanks to everyone for sticking with us this year. Appreciate the support, and see you in 2025.
For all those hours that you've been here.
Perfect. We'll speak to you next time, or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.